Good afternoon. And yeah, I intentionally want my face to be this big. Well, I probably should move away. But welcome to 3R Sports Draft Night coverage. Here with Randall, Robbie, and Raj. Guys, have you spent as much time getting ready for tonight as I have? Because I feel like it's all I've done all week is study this draft.
Short answer is no.
Wonderful. How about you, Raj?
You're an attorney, Rob. Sure, of course, naturally.
All right, guys.
We talked about this before. As a Raider fan, this is pretty much the highlight of my season, so I'm pretty fired up for it, no doubt about it.
Well, for everybody who's with us, last week or Tuesday night, we've worked on some of our issues. We're actually not in 1080i tonight. We're in 780i so that we can save some bandwidth and break. Well, you may hear some breakup, but we've intentionally tried to make sure that we can stay as long as we can without breakup. We're about 25 minutes from the draft starting. Before we get to that point, guys, what do you make of the big breaking news out of Green Bay tonight? Aaron Rodgers basically says, I won't trade it. And I think he has all the leverage in this situation. Robbie?
I was thinking about that on the way. Before we got on the air, it's crazy. I mean, we all saw there was a lot of smoke in the offseason. It looked like they patched it up, and then apparently not. And I was thinking back, didn't Brett Favre essentially sit out a year, and then he retired and then came back and then was free to, or they traded him to the Jets and then he was free to go after that, or did he sit out a year?
I don't think he sat out a year, but I think the real possibility in the Aaron Rodgers situation. Sorry, everybody, I forgot. What if he hosted Jeopardy for a year?
Yeah, and just to back up, the reason why we're not live at the draft, obviously COVID concerns, and there's the shortage on press passes, and so we just decided that we weren't going to be there live this year, and it's in Cleveland, and who wants to be in Cleveland, really?
Yeah, but recently some of our gang was at the one in Nashville and really enjoyed the draft. Said it was great.
But no, to answer your question, I think Rodgers has a whole lot of leverage, and I'm sure we're going to get into it. What would you do if you had one of the top 10, 15 picks? But yeah, I think, the Packers did draft a first-round quarterback last year, but he didn't see the field, at least not any meaningful time. And man, to have Favre and Rodgers and just have 2 Super Bowls in a 35-year span, that's underachieving to its core.
Yeah,
I'm trying to bounce around the signal here. Raj, what do you think about it? What would happen if a team like Washington got a hold of Aaron Rodgers?
With that defense, it would get ugly, especially for everyone in the NFC East, which is the NFC least, really. Part of me thinks Rodgers is kind of being I'm not Tom Brady crybaby, but again, dude, they lost by 5 points at home in the NFC Championship game, and they used a first-round pick on his replacement that's going to sit for 2 or 3 years. The irony is overwhelming considering where he was drafted and how things shook down, as you alluded towards. I was just checking out, looking at that NFC Championship game. The Green Bay secondary did surprise. There's no doubt about it. But, they did give up almost 300 yards passing to Tom Brady. And NFL defense-wise, I think they were 12th or so against the pass. But, big runs when it mattered. Could they have used number 26 overall pick, with hindsight being 2020, on somebody that could have made one play? Hell yeah. And that may have been the difference between Tampa and Green Bay. So I'm with Aaron. He can be as sour as he wants.
Do you think this is about getting him help, or what happened with Jordan Love last year? That if I can get help, I'm out.
I think a little bit of it is seeing Tom Brady and also seeing some of these rosters that are out there that are lacking. You stick him on New Orleans. You stick him on. You guys mentioned Washington. Chicago. I mean, obviously they would never deal him to the Bears, but a team like New Orleans or Washington, that they're instant contenders, if not the favorites. And so I don't think it's about the money. I mean, the guy's made a tons of money. He's half of his year he lives in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You can't spend much money there, even if you try. And so I think it's just going to be about winning and just kind of getting his way. He's always kind of had a reputation of being a diva. And so I think whenever they hired Matt LaFleur, that relationship was rocky to begin with. They were, relatively around the same age. And I think he saw that fourth down play, that choice to kick the field goal, as that was my year, and the coach blew it, and Tampa went on to blow out the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That could be 2 Super Bowls in a row for him. So I think it's just frustration, just wanting to get his way.
Ironically, somebody's joining us later, Howie Cheney, just posted, it's all about kicking the field goal last year. He's not happy with the coach. And then that kind of follows what you said is, maybe he does not feel like he's got the support he deserves. Now, all of that being said, also breaking today, and not to as much of a scale, as you can see behind me, and I put it up there intentionally, it just kind of sideways, looking over my shoulder. The Falcons entertained offers overnight for Julio Jones. Is Atlanta asking too much for Julio? And, we kind of talked about that. He's probably not worth a first rounder, but that seems to be the asking price for the Falcons. Not, a top 15 pick, but, I've heard talk with Tennessee. Actually, right before I came on, I read an article about Tennessee being interested in Julio. I know the Ravens made an offer overnight. What's the value of a 32-year-old receiver in this market? Is it pick 31?
Again, I call it the Bill Ryan effect, but if the best receiver in the league right now, DeAndre Hopkins, couldn't garner anything higher than a 2, again, probably because of Bill O'Brien. How are you going to give a 1 to a 32-year-old dude who is a freak of nature? And if anyone were to be worth such a first-round selection maybe in the future, it would be him. But I just think they're asking too much. And, they know sitting at 4, they're probably going to get a guy that's going to really open up the offense in Pitts. And it's going to take a lot off of Julio. So if this may be noise, I know his cap hit's like roughly $23 million. But, they may be making noise. And if somebody gives them a deal they can't pass up, then take it and they'll get Pitts. Otherwise, again, they get Pitts and the offense opens up some more. They signed Mike Davis as a running back. I think it's a lot of smoke, but who knows? Somebody's going to have to pay big to get him, and rightfully so. But they're in a great position. They're top of the draft, and they don't need a quarterback. One of the few teams that do not need a quarterback, at least right now. They don't have that luxury that Green Bay had a few years ago.
Robbie, is Julio Jones the face of the Falcons franchise? Because that's the thing I heard. How do you trade the face of the franchise?
Well, New England does it. That's how you justify it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, is there a team out there that's a missing piece as a 32-year-old wide receiver that you would trade a first-round pick for? No.
I can't.
Yeah, and so I
can't come up with it.
Yeah, so I mean, I would much rather keep my first-round pick, and I mean, Julio's great. I mean, at times he was unguardable, but those days are over. I mean, he's still a matchup problem, but the teams with the good offenses, I mean, Kansas City doesn't need him. The Bucks don't need him. Saints don't need. I mean, even the Titans, who were in the AFC Championship 2 years ago, they don't really need a receiver. If I'm taking my draft picks, I'm picking rushers. Their offense hasn't been the problem, and the way the NFL has changed as far as being so offensive friendly. No, I'd rather get a young 22-year-old wide receiver and see how he pans out with my first round pick. There's just now they may trade him. What did Randy? I mean, Randy Moss was having problems, but he went for a fourth rounder, I think.
Right.
And I mean, the second greatest receiver of all time, and you saw what he did when he got to New England. He was not anywhere near the end of his career. He had 3 or 4 good years left in him.
Right. And again, maybe the Falcons are just looking for more than he's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the point of it is, if somebody gives me a blowaway deal, I take it. You know. One more question before.
What about?
Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, Randall. Atlanta was 29th in the league in total defense last year, and they were dead last against the pass.
Yes.
They're sitting at 4, jumping to 4 to grab. Arguably, I would say no. Surtain the second, don't call him junior. People project him around the 10th pick or so. Then there's J.C. Horn, who basically was out a year and had a back injury, but suddenly he's the darling of the draft. They definitely need help on the back end. Maybe trade down and get something else, because I know you guys will lose your mind, Falcon Nation, if Kyle Pitts is passed over. But the reality is, you do have Hayden Hurst. You do have Lee Smith. Lee Smith, I think he's still there. But
yeah.
Defense is a huge need.
Absolutely, and I think if there was a pick that justified the 4th pick there, I just don't think that So one of the storylines we're going to talk about as this rolls along, guys, I got a signal me. This is a good signal wherever we're at right now. We've got the best signal we've had in a while. So, and everybody out there, we're going to come and go. If somebody wants to go make a drink, we're going to stay on the air, but maybe Raj pops out for 5 minutes and so just stay with us. We'll have continuous coverage, but
the lack of 5-minute break. I mean, each 5-minute break we will get more entertaining afterwards.
Yes. Raj, I think we might see 9 offensive players taken in the first 9 picks. I don't think there's that one defensive impact guy that if J.J. Watt was sitting at the top of this draft in one of those top 4 picks, I think the Falcons go that way. If a Joey Bosa or even a shut-down corner was there, because I think Surtain and Farley, everybody's got defects. The one guy I thought had a chance to get there was Micah Parsons, but for rightly or wrongly, they've been so much kind of bashing him in the pre-draft process. He's probably fell off to the mid-first round. So I think the way the Falcons processed it was, we're not going to be here again for a while, we hope. Here's a generational talent. And I really do think, when I use that word, I don't know that I felt like we've seen generational talents at quarterback, and I don't know if these 3 guys are generational talents. I'm pretty sure Kyle Pitts is as good a tight end to enter the market in the last decade. So, yeah, there's reasons the Falcons don't need Pitts, but if you've got that draft capital and you can go secure the next Tony G, Antonio Gates, I think you get it done. I think you get it done.
Well, and I mean, you have arguably, I mean, not arguably a top 5 position on a team is the tight end now.
Yes.
And with a generational tight end can only be matched up one-on-one by a first creation of a generational linebacker, safety, cornerback mix that hasn't been in the league yet. I mean, you have a decade of matchup nightmares against other teams. You can always build your defense later, and Matt Ryan's probably got a year, maybe 2 left. You know, start that transition. I just don't think you can pass this guy up. If Trevor Lawrence wasn't sitting there at 1, I mean, it would be hard pressed for me to pass him up. And just quarterbacks, they're going to come. And I mean, look, rookies this year we had Joe Burrow played well. Herbert from the LA Chargers did really well. I think Tua looked promising. Who was the other rookie that played really well? Who am I missing?
Herbert.
Who else? Tua. But anyways, but I mean, you had at least three quarterbacks just in last year's class that can play. So I think a matchup tight end like that is gold.
Right. I think you're right. We're about 10 minutes from the first pick, so I want to quickly go through. We do have our own, and I think we're all kind of trying to watch something a little different. But I have fresh off the press from Randall Cunningham's printer, Randall's top 5 players available. I listed Trevor Lawrence is the best player available. The list I sent y'all had Sewell, but I listed Pitts over Sewell. I did list Sewell as 3rd, Zack Wilson, and then here's where I kind of, the original list, I kind of get a little bit, let's talk about it. Why is Justin Fields went from the sure number 2 pick to now I hear him as far down as 10 and 12? Is it something in his game, or was it all the stuff that went on at Georgia a few years ago?
I don't know what you could have seen in his play last year that says, hey, he's worse than I thought he was, or not as good as I thought he was. He dominated everyone, dominated Clemson, ended up getting hurt, I think breaking some ribs. Is that what his injury was? I can't remember the exact injury. But I mean, he was banged up and then played a Alabama team where you had to score every single possession or you were going to get beat. And once they got ahead, then Ohio State couldn't run the ball anymore. They had to pass it, and it was just an avalanche. And so that was the only game he looked. I mean, I guess he didn't play great in the Northwestern game in the Big Ten championship, but I mean, they had what the Big Ten went through this year as far as we're playing, we're not playing. I mean, they practiced without games. It's like, well, what's going on? If there's ever a year to give somebody a mulligan. But again, I don't think he played poorly at all at Ohio State. And I mean, he runs a 4.4. He can throw the ball. You know, I'm looking at CBS has him at the 5th overall prospect, and he's looking at going late 10s, early teens, and then you have Mac Jones, a 22nd overall prospect. Look at him going 3rd. I don't know. You know, it just takes one team to fall in love with somebody and some people to fall out of love with somebody, but that's one of those picks you pass up on, and a GM's job's on the line.
I think a lot of people like Lance more than Justin Fields because Lance is more of a pure pocket passer. Fields still has that instinct to break down and run, or at least to roll out. He seems to throw better on the run. If there was a knock against him, it's that he doesn't anticipate. He doesn't lead his receivers well. A lot of throws were waited. He was waiting until somebody was open, and he had that kind of time because Ohio State's offensive line is basically like the Cowboys. That might not be a good thing, but surrounded by just tons of talent. For whatever reason, it didn't work out at Georgia. Now we have a lot of what I think is smoke about the epilepsy, and we discussed this on Tuesday. That's probably a contractually motivated. The agents are wanting to get that out there because something could be voided if his epilepsy or whatnot acts up. You just don't want to give them any reason. But I am higher on Lance than Fields. I didn't think I'd ever say that because I'm a definite proof in the pudding. What did you do last year? Who'd you play against? But no, I mean, that would be my knock on Fields, is that he's not just a true pocket passer. And then again, that he doesn't lead receivers well. If you do that in the NFL, you're going to throw 10 picks in the first 2 months or 1 month.
All right. I do agree with you. And one thing I would add is by no means are we experts, but we're going to give you a little different view than what the NFL Network is right now. So let's take a second before the draft starts in 5 minutes. And I have a question that I haven't discussed with either one of you. And then I'm going to put my 2 cents in too. It's fantasy football draft day. Who are you taking? Well, let me change my word. Who is going to be the most impactful rookie in this fantasy football draft class?
Whew. I mean, I'm going Pitts or Jamar Chase. Somebody's going to get the ball, especially after what Justin Jefferson did last year. And I drafted him late. He didn't do anything the first month, and I let him go. And I am still regretting that, obviously.
That's how people don't win championships.
I know, but that's how we make the playoffs every year, though, unlike some people. Anyway.
Hey, I just want to show y'all something. While you're talking, I did go ahead and pull the big sofa out in case I want to recline.
Yeah. I'm in my living room office. I've moved it's going to be outside by the fire, but then we got some storms coming in that kind of ruined my plan. I'm with Raj. You'll hear it all night long. My man crush, Pitts. That he's going to be. I mean, he's ready to go. Only problem is he goes to Atlanta. Well, no, Atlanta's going to move. Yeah, Pitts. If he goes to Atlanta, their offense is good. They'll score a lot and then choke at the end.
Yeah. One more question.
Oh, wait, I got a quick question for y'all. I think y'all know what I would do, but if you're Jacksonville, do you take the entire 10 minutes or do you just go ahead and put Trevor Lawrence's name in?
I take the 10 minutes.
Oh,
because you absolutely are getting 10 minutes of nationwide coverage.
Everyone's going to be like, wait, Jacksonville has a football team?
Yeah. And you're going to have everyone up there talking to him. The draft's under the way.
The AFC South is Nashville has now become a major city, but for the longest time, the AFC South was like just Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, and Nashville. I
didn't know they were there. But no, I mean, if you got to take the 10, if not to help out your other teams, your boys got to keep relationships good. If they go right away, I'm pretty sure the Jets will be pissed. Same with the Niners.
And I'm sure the NFL is like, hey, we got bills to pay. We're using every commercial we can.
Where's the first trade going to happen tonight?
Oh, I think New England moves up. Belichick, he knows he's only got a few more, maybe 5 more years of coaching left. He's desperate for another Super Bowl.
So, I think 6. Miami's stockpiling. I think 6 with Miami. The people are talking about them getting the Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith. But, they have other needs as well. And they could probably get, their offensive line. I think they were 28th against the pass last year, in terms of passing, and that's also because of Tua. But he took a lot of sacks mainly for holding the ball, but they can stockpile. They're one of those franchises that is doing that, the sort of trend, and the more the merrier. And the other ones right after them at Detroit. A lot of people think New England's going to move on up into that 6 or 7. I think they're going to sign Jimmy G or trade for him. I don't know when. So I don't know, but most people believe it'll be 6 or 7.
I'm interested to see where the lineman from Oregon goes. So,
yeah,
he should go 5th. He was awesome. I mean, I watched a lot of him being a Pac-12 guy.
Yeah.
He did opt out last year, which initially he was going to be the number 2 pick right after Trevor Lawrence. Most people thought that. But he is a freak of nature. His brother is too. His brother's a middle linebacker. They're just really intelligent, super athletic, super strong. Like some of those dudes that, they put their hands on you and you know it. And you're going to go down probably. So I'd be surprised if he, again, some people think Cincinnati's going with Chase from LSU to reunite him with Burrow. I mean, they've already got Boyd and Higgins came on and Tate.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go with Sewell, but after that, who can't use a 10-year offensive tackle?
Yeah, well, if the Bengals don't get Burrow some help, he doesn't need more weapons. He needs protection. They're going to get him killed.
Well, they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
They invested heavily in a right tackle. They signed from Minnesota Reef.
Yeah.
I don't know that they got any solution at left tackle. So,
Reef was, I don't know if it was Pro Football Focus or ESPN's wannabe metric, but I think they ranked him as like the 37th overall tackle or right tackle last year in terms of pass protection. So even though it's a good signing, he was a staple in Minnesota for years. It's not like, oh, we're good now. No worries. Joe Burrow will be fine. He almost died last year. So, I would go Sewell in a heartbeat. I know a lot of friends from Cincinnati area. I think most would agree with me, but a lot of people love the romantic notion of Chase going to play with Burrow, and right after that, Devontae Smith going to play with Tua in Miami. I think that's all lame. Just get the best player and fill your biggest need.
So I know Burrow looked like Joe Montana and Tom Brady combined whenever he played the Titans last year. They lit us up.
He did.
So the story going around about Miami is if they have a chance to get Pitts or Chase, they're not going to trade out, and I believe that's true. I believe right now you're right. The logical thing to do is draft Sewell, but I guarantee the number 1 guy in that draft room that is lobbying for Jamar Chase is probably named Joe Burrow. So it's going to be interesting. I think.
Man, these kids look like they're 16 years old.
I know it, man.
Yeah, Zack Wilson, man, he looks young. I mean, big ups to the girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes being Mormon pays off. No, I meant no disrespect for that.
You
were talking about Burrow.
Here comes the FCC back on us.
Hey, dude, we are walking violations.
Looks like.
Dude, I got a lot of Mormon friends I grew up with. They're the best. Big ups to the Dreggers.
Laptop, iPad, iPhone, and you're on the second one, and they're all going with a 60-inch TV in front of me. God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is single-handedly like one of my favorite days and one of my wife's least favorite days. And so she's out at Il Primo getting dinner with friends, and I'm have the whole house to myself. So it's a wonderful night.
So with the draft starting, we're going to 10 tonight. We're prepped to go through New England's pick. We think it'll be there. New England's natural pick at 15. If we end up longer or shorter, it's according to how the NFL paces it. There's, of course, they're showing Trevor Lawrence right now. Guys, that's one guy we've not talked about. And we've done very little talking about him. How good is Trevor Lawrence a generational Peyton Manning talent? And that's the only reference I have for him. Because anything less than that, I think, is a disappointment.
Was Andrew Luck a disappointment?
No. Unfortunately, I think Andrew Luck was an exception. So let's clarify that. Andrew Luck's career was a disappointment. I don't think his play was a disappointment. The fact that New England got him no help and he got just devastated, it probably cut a great career. But yeah, Andrew Luck was a generational talent, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking. I mean, like that's the last kind of can't miss prospect that's came out
At this level, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and so, um, yeah, I think he's generational talent. I mean, he, I mean, maybe had one bad game in 3 years, and so, the ACC is not, all world beaters, but there's some good teams. There's some good players. They have a lot historically. They have either the second or third most players drafted by conference. And so there's a lot of good players and some people that can make his life bad. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason why there's not even a debate on who to take at number one. I mean, it's kind of a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I think he was rated 97, which maybe only Peyton Manning was higher, maybe Manning and Luck. And so I think he falls into that category of those three.
So to promote, and Roger, I'll get you just in a second. For the Falcons pick, we got lifelong season ticket holder Howie Chaney coming on. For the Niners pick, we've got Justin Thomas, who is a lifelong Niners fan, has a family that's steeped in Tennessee football tradition, the nephew of Houston Thomas that wears a national championship ring. And then my old buddy Dennis Swaney from the D. Swain Belo show back when I used to do that, should be joining us for the 10th pick as he's a Cowboy fan. So I've tried to add some intrigue to some of these great picks. The Falcons pick, the Niners pick, the Cowboys pick. I think that's where some drama might happen. So, Raj, going back to Trevor Lawrence, is he generational?
Sunshine, I don't know. I think so. He looks like it, both on and off the field. But, the flip side is I look at, DJ, and I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name, Southern California product, another guy that got away from USC and UCLA, just like the number one quarterback last year. Bryce, why can't I think of his last name, who went to Alabama, Bryce Young. But, DJ had 914 yards. He threw 5 TDs and 0 picks, but with those same weapons. Hunter Helms, the third string, actually had the highest quarterback rating on Clemson, although only threw 12 passes. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I think, yes, he's the most polished. He's played the toughest competition out of any of them. He, again, looks and plays the part. Sunshine's long blonde hair. He's going to Jacksonville in all likelihood. Very marketable. He can be sitting in that pool because he'll probably be out half the year from their offensive line getting him sacked. But, it's tough for me to call him generational. It sure looks like it. I'd be shocked if he flopped. But, is he suddenly going to be, is he going to have better numbers than Justin Herbert, who I don't think anybody would call generational? I'd be surprised if he did.
If he was in that class, would he been the first overall pick?
Last year, we're all etch-a-sketches, Randall. We're dudes, and I'm in my 40s. As soon as I wake up, the day before is usually wiped out.
It would have been basically Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence.
Burrow. Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. Burrow statistically was once in a lifetime, right? Didn't he just basically blow up every record on earth, and they were like 80-0 or whatever? That's a great question. I think he probably would have gone ahead just based on the mystique, but I would have probably taken Burrow. Rob, you missed a great question. I question whether or not Lawrence is generational. Randall asked if it was last year, number one overall, Lawrence, or would it still be Joe Burrow?
think it would have been. So we have hindsight now to see how good Burrow looked in the NFL. But yeah, going back last year, was Burrow a 1-year wonder? Just on they got lightning in a bottle and just hit it. Yeah, no, I think Lawrence still goes number one. Well, I have a quick while. I was listening to you guys and I was just thinking, and brought me back to like the Andrew Luck thing. Are we more or less confident? While we're all still pretty confident that Lawrence is going to be really good, are we more or less confident than we were before Urban Meyer is the coach in Jacksonville?
How about I'm neutral? There's some things about Urban Meyer being in Jacksonville that made me excited for him. But when I had this debate with some of my other friends, they kept coming back to the success rate of college coaches going to the NFL. So I think Urban Meyer is the most qualified to make that move, Robbie. But outside of that great cheater, that guy there, he's a great guy. Oh, by the way, high energy. You want to be your coach if you're a player.
He did it on both levels, unlike Sir Nicholas of Alabama, of Tuscaloosa. Pretty much was a miraculous failure. You can blame Jeff Ireland for taking Dante over Drew Brees. But, yeah, Pete Carroll's probably one of the few that did it on both levels. So is Urban Meyer and his – say again?
He and Jimmy Johnson, I think, are the only two.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Switzer did.
Oh, yeah, he did win the right? Cowboys. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But, I could have coached that team in championship.
I think we've got a guy in Joe Brady that's got a chance, too. I really like Joe Brady's fit in Carolina. But I'm going to say if there's a coach built to make this move, it's Urban Meyer. I really hate him, but I respect him. And I really honestly thought that if Helton got fired, he might have took the USC job.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh. We were praying.
Don't ruin Raj's night already thinking about that.
We were praying. There were all rumors. And he bought a house in L.A. and Urban watching.
Hey, you know John Gruden owns land in Seymour?
I did not know that, and he's welcome to go back and build anytime.
All right, guys. I've never known us to have a band play before the draft. I'm trying to decide. I need to know, can you all see me if I cut the light down one? Or is that too low?
I mean, it depends on whether or not we want to see you. But, yeah, it's a little dark.
I think I'm okay because the other one, I think I found the issue with our internet is more I turn up the lights, the more it makes that sound. So
does that make sense?
Yeah, if it helps, then yeah, we can live with you, Dark. How many losing seasons does Urban have in him?
Until he has a fake heart attack, 2.
That was my over/under is 2 losing seasons. And then the other flip side of the question is, if he has 2 losing seasons and wants to go on, how long does the owner let him go? Did he sign for $12 million a year?
Yes,
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I know they're rich and they're billionaires, and $12 million a year is nothing to them, but $12 million a year is a lot to anybody.
A guy who's never coached in the NFL at that level or any level, I think.
He's never been in the NFL. Not even an assistant, not even anything. Which is ironic because one of his elite strengths in college was recruiting, and that and that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, obviously the Drew Brees and the Dante Culpepper decision, but yeah, I mean Saban didn't like that he couldn't get everyone he wanted, and it's called parity. He doesn't like that.
So our our San Francisco expert Justin Thomas commented that first I look better with low light, but
he's right.
He's not
also,
wrong.
to start the conversation, that's where the intrigue happens tonight. That is really the first place that's not a slam dunk pick.
Hey, ask him who he hopes they pick and who he thinks they're going to pick.
Well, we're going to bring him on the air.
Oh, okay. He's the one coming on. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We've
I
already
always
had this
jump the gun.
conversation. We're of a like mind who the third quarterback is. But before I give you his opinion, and type it in the comment, Jay. Type who you want the pick to be at 3. Who do you, Robbie Davis? Who do you take at 3?
So that's a great question. I actually think Justin Fields fits Shanahan's offense really well. The rollout, the what's it called? What's the blocking scheme? Why is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. The what Terrell Davis tore the league up with. Anyways, the zone blocking. That's what it is. Zone block. Yes, I think having the play action and then running Fields out, he throws on the run, and I think he fits that system fantastically. And so that's who I would want if I was a Falcons fan. I think Mac Jones may be safer, but I'm not all in on these Wilson and is it Lance?
Yes.
I'm not. It's just this small Division I, and then I think there's going to be all kinds of problems for Wilson in New York. But I would go Fields, but I think less risk would be Jones.
Hey, there's a lot of talk of them loving Lance and him fitting that offense well. But I also, it's a team with not a lot of holes. And, is Deebo Samuel reliable? And last year he played 7 games. Kendrick Bourne is gone. Ayuk, big receiver, Arizona State, followed up N'Keal Harry that went to New England, hasn't done anything. Jamar Chase changes the game right away. So, maybe trade down 1 or 2 and still get their guy. Do I think they'll do that? No. I'd like to see them go Lance. Obviously the talk is Mac Jones, and, that's supposedly they're good enough where they need a game manager, but I guess that's what Jimmy G was, and how'd that turn out?
All right. So this was mine, and I'll go ahead and post it up here. This was our talk earlier. We both are going with the theory that Kyle Shanahan sees Matt Ryan in Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan's greatest success has been with Kirk Cousins and Matt Ryan. If you were going to pick a quarterback that is Kirk Cousins and is Matt Ryan in this draft, it would be Mac Jones. I also think that the window is very, very narrow in San Francisco. It's probably 2 or 3 years to get it done. I think Fields and Lance may have the most upside, but I think the quarterback that you throw on the field that starts and the most productive quarterback out of this class in 2021 is Mac Jones. So we'll see. I think that floor is higher maybe for Lance and Fields. I really do. But I think that floor and the ability to play in 21 and 22 is better with Mac Jones.
I mean, is the window small? I mean, they got Kinlaw last year. Nick Bosa is going to be under contract. Fred Warner's a killer. Jimmy Ward, Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mobley. Some of those guys are free agents. Some of them will be due. But, they're much like Alabama and USC of old and Dallas when they were dominant in the NFL. in the Niners are set, and they're set long term, really. They signed Trent Williams to a long term deal, I believe. They got Alex Mack from Atlanta, who had helped turn that team around. McGlinchey at right tackle, the kid from Notre Dame. I think they're in good shape, man. I mean, it's kind of analogous to Green Bay in the sense that, there's not many holes here. And if Jimmy G's healthy, I think they'd be fine with him, but I guess we'll see.
The biggest problem. Well, go ahead, Randall.
No, but I agree with you. It increases their window by drafting a rookie quarterback, though. I believe you actually save money at this point by drafting a rookie.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about a window being open in a one window house. That division is stacked. You have the Rams, Seattle, Arizona. Those are all contenders. And you talking about, does a rookie quarterback come in there? Are you doing it? I understand the finances, but they got to be able to play, because if they can't play, tick tock. Now we'll see. It seems like Russell Wilson in Seattle have mended their fences, according to Pete Carroll. We've yet to hear from Russ on that, but if all those core stay together, and we'll see how Stafford does at LA, I imagine he's going to do well. And so, I think that division, that's a division you can't, lose a road game to Minnesota or a road game to, Cleveland on an off week. You got every out of division game, you got to win.
Whose phone's ringing right now? We're 5 minutes in the first pick. Is Atlanta's phone's ringing? Is Miami's phone ringing?
I know, my actual phone.
I was like, looking around.
No, I don't mean your actual phone. But who's making a phone call trying to make a move right now? I'll tell you what I think. I think the New England Patriots have been working the phones aggressively since the day started. I really think the Patriots need to come out of this draft with Lance or Fields. I also think someone who wants a running back needs to get aggressive to either move up to get Harris, because I just have a feeling he's the one different maker. Could you see a situation where somebody comes up to 14 or 15 for Najee Harris? I mean, you're a Titans fan, Robbie. Where's the Titans fan? Where are the Titans at without Derrick Henry?
Oh, I know. Well, we are us and maybe Carolina and New York, the Giants, are really the only teams that are built running back first. But it works. It's worked great for the Titans since Vrabel's been there. It has been the counteract to a great offense is keep them off the field. And Derrick Henry, they overpay. They paid him well, but they didn't overpay him. He had another 2,000-yard season. And the freedom he gives Tannehill and those receivers in play action. It is what they say, running backs can be replaced and you can get an undrafted free agent. That is true. You can get an undrafted Edelman too that has a heck of a career, but you get a stud running back, a powerful running back. I wouldn't take any kind of necessarily speed back anymore. You can move those all around, but I don't know if you trade up, because I think running backs may fall, maybe a couple. So I wouldn't trade, a first round in the future. I would think Miami's phone's going to ring, and I think the Lions definitely are, and the Panthers, all that 6, 7, 8, 9. Atlanta's probably getting calls, but I don't see them trading out.
I'm going to give you guys two names. One, Josh Jacobs. Two, Trey Pipkins III. Why do I say those names? Number one, Josh Jacobs. Pretty similar to Najee Harris. Same university, same offense. Najee bigger. Josh Jacobs has been a beast. I believe it's a bit smaller, but he wasn't taken until the 24th overall pick, and a lot of people said that was slow or a little too high, rather. So is Najee 10 picks better than Josh Jacobs? No. The reason why I brought up Trey Pipkins III, that's the Chargers left tackle. Herbert has been a beast, but if any team could use some thunder and lightning to go with Eckler and that really strong offense, it would be the Chargers. I mean, imagine Najee Harris back there with Eckler. That's a total thunder and lightning right there. But they need Slater or Veritaka. They need a offensive tackle. But there's not a need for somebody to jump up that high. And again, if Jacobs went 24th, how could you justify Najee Harris going that high? And plus, I think Etienne is. I mean, they're different types of backs, but I'd look at him just as strongly as I would Najee.
The pick is in, by the way. So I want to ask you a question while the pick's coming up.
They took a lot of time. I like it.
I like it too. Should they sign a veteran quarterback to mentor?
Hey, Tennessee. Look at that guy in Tennessee. Oh. Born in Knoxville?
So I'm going to give you a little story right now.
I'm watching NFL Network. Is that on ESPN?
Yeah, I switched to ESPN. Although Booger's there. He's muted, though, for me. Sorry, go ahead.
His sophomore year, Rivals sent a semi-writer down to see Trevor Lawrence in Cartersville. And they called this guy who was an associate and said, hey, this kid is a huge Tennessee fan. He's going to be going to Tennessee. We want somebody to go down and we want him to look at him and see if the kid is good. Well, that little talent scout went down his sophomore year, watched Trevor Lawrence throw for about 2 hours in practice. Pick is in, and obviously it was Trevor Lawrence. And he come back with a 5-star rating, and he compared Trevor Lawrence to Drew Bledsoe as a 15-year-old kid. Now, let's fast forward a few years. I was the Rivals guy they sent down there. Sitting here 7 years from now, watching this, a kid that loved the University of Tennessee, who absolutely made the right decision to not go to Tennessee.
Thanks, Butch Jones.
Do what?
Said thanks, Butch Jones.
As much as I like, and his family treated me with class. His family, there's his dad sitting there who I got to know a little bit. I actually have, I'll show it to you guys one day. I actually have my Rivals sheet in my room where I gave him a 5-star ranking, and it's autographed, Go Vols, Trevor Lawrence. That's how locked in this kid was to being a Tennessee ball. So he decided not to go to Tennessee, and after becoming the number 1 pick, I think it's the right thing. And it tears my heart, but I'm telling you, I got to meet this family. He worked hard to be where he's at, guys.
You want to tell the story about how Butch Jones blew it?
No, I'll let you have that one.
I don't know. I know bits and pieces. I don't know enough to go on and say it on TV.
I don't know if I really want to tell it on there. That might be one for the draft.
Hey, real quick, guys, while we're talking about Tennessee, big ups to my buddy Mike Anchor, who is working overseas as a contract worker. I believe he's in Jordan. He just messaged that he's watching both. He's watching us and watching the draft on TV, and it's 5 a.m. over there. So Mike Anchor, a lot of people in Chattanooga know the family. Mike Anchor. Yeah. You guys know Dave, Big Dave. It's his brother. Hey, Trevor Lawrence was selected. There's another shocker. Big ups to Mike. Watching 5 a.m. in the Middle East.
Mike. Thanks for watching from Jordan. We got someone from Jordan. My sister's watching us from Australia. We're getting an international following.
I think we're up to 6.
I just threw out that I know Trevor Lawrence, and I've saved that till that moment. So I've been sitting on that one for a while.
I got one that'll top that, but I'm saving it. Everybody knows when I throw it out, it's overplayed.
Guys, one thing. First off, from Jordan, thank you very much. We do this to try to give people a different view. Hey, Raj, I got some stickers, some River City stuff. Make sure we get it to him and Jordan. Robbie, make sure we get that stuff to your sister in Australia. Anybody that's watching in a foreign country automatically gets swag.
He's a UT guy too. He played football at Tyner back in the day, and he's watching
get
the dudes.
Out.
Right on.
So, in my 6 questions, the only one I really want to talk about before we go on to the Jets, do the Jags need to bring a veteran quarterback to mentor Trevor Lawrence in, or do they need to clear Gardner Minshew off the roster? What do you do to get him ready to play?
Go ahead, Rob. Oh, okay. I'll go. I think Minshew's more than serviceable. Isn't Urban Meyer a quarterback whisperer? Who are they going to hire? I mean, everybody loves Fitzpatrick, or is Josh McCown still alive? Who are they going to sign, rather? I think they're just going to run with him, and it's going to be his team in every way, shape, and form. Minshew knows the offense. Lawrence is Minshew times about 50. But I don't think there's a guy you sign just for that quasi-political purpose, if you will. I think you let this kid, if he is generational, let him do his thing.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think Minshew's perfectly fine. He plays the position well. I mean, he's obviously not. There's a reason why he was going to be a grad assistant before Leach came and convinced him to come play one more year, and then he ended up he's not that good. He's not that talented, but he knows the game and he knows how to see the field, knows the playbook. The one thing I would check on whose availability, though, if you wanted a backup that Urban would love in case, injury or it goes slow.
Don't you say that guy's name.
What's the status of Marcus Mariota?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say somebody else's name that is supposedly trying to come back as a tight end.
Tebow? Yeah. No, I think Marcus Mariota would be a great fit in that system. And just assuming Urban's going to bring some version of his spread option read to the NFL. But I think that would be a good fit. But did he re-sign? I know there was some talk. Did he re-sign in Oakland? Vegas.
I think he's still under contract. It wasn't that he was going to be a free agent. I believe because I think they gave him $8 or $10 million a year for a backup. Smart, but he's one of their few tradable assets. So I don't believe he was an unrestricted free agent. He's still there, but yeah, I mean, if you can get something for your backup quarterback, then by all means.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not much of a worse life than a backup quarterback in the NFL, making $5 to $8 million because they're so competitive. They don't want you to the starters don't want you to ever play. So you just sit there and chill. And I'm in the NFL. Don't get hit either.
Tough life.
All right, guys. I hate to switch gears, but they're going really fast. Jets. The pick is in. What if I told you when I broke down film, and I did break down a lot, and I've referenced the guy on here before, Chris Sims, as being kind of a guy that's trying to become an NFL GM.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you the film that I looked at, the best arm I saw was Zack Wilson. Better than Trevor Lawrence, better than Justin Fields, better than Trey Lance, better than Mac Jones. Pure in the pocket talent. It was Zack Wilson.
What does that mean? The best arm I've ever seen.
Is it better than Jamarcus Russell?
Jamarcus Russell. That's exactly what I was going to say. As a Raider fan, we always talk about that. The guy threw it from his knees 70 yards, and Al Davis made him the number one pick. I don't care about your arm. When Zack Wilson played high competition, which was rare, and last year I think Coastal was the top pick. We talked about this. He didn't exactly blow the doors off. And for them to get rid of Darnold, who played great competition, and yes, I'm biased, but for kind of a carbon copy of the same guy, I mean, I was very surprised by that. Now, we don't know for a fact it will be Wilson. He's still going to be running for his life, just like Darnold was, but is he that much better than Darnold against a far less competition thus far? I couldn't say that.
Yeah, I think the Jets are just a train wreck, and they just they really. I agree with you, Roz. They are just drafting the same player. Look at I can't remember who BYU played in the bowl game. I watched. I mean, he did look impressive, but I mean, and picking that, if that is the pick, we'll have to find out. Going from Utah to New York City is a big. You have a first-year head coach, now another rookie quarterback, going from Utah to New York, where Utah news is about.
I'm here, guys. Keep talking.
The crazy thing the Republicans can do next, and now that's their big headlines. You go to New York, and it's all sports. I mean, it's.
I think New York media is going to like his girlfriend more than they like him. And speaking of somebody that looks like he's 8 and is high-fiving Jets fans, again, Jets fans were doing backflips over Sam Darnold 3 years ago.
Well, and talk. I mean, he's rich, but talk about an expensive city to live in if you don't drink or party. I mean,
maybe he'll have a shot there. I mean, Derek Carr is in Vegas, and Derek Carr is equally religious. So I'm not one to compare religious dedication, but yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Every time I see him throw a beautiful pass, he's got 18 minutes to throw.
I'm kind of pulling a double duty here, trying to program some stuff and get some guests on. I had to pop off for a second, but you actually asked my next question was, how dramatically different is New York City from Provo? And that I think you got it there. So let's go ahead and let's wrap up Zack Wilson, because we've talked about him quite a lot. I want the honest opinion of Zack Wilson. Is this the first pick that's like, this could be the guy that we all go, what were they thinking when they did that? Is this it? Pick 2?
To me, it is.
Let me ask you guys, as I'm obviously biased, is he that much better than Sam Darnold, who they took at 3 to trade Darnold and then basically draft again somebody extremely similar? If he is, you tell me. I don't see it, but
yeah.
Again, I have some cardinal and gold glasses.
I'm with you.
I mean, if this is and I've said it again, if you bust on a quarterback, then just keep trying it. But I don't think Sam Darnold was a bust. I just think that he had no help, no time, nothing. And so it's like, to use these, you're going to keep drafting high every year. Draft offensive linemen, draft some talent. The Jets are the Tennessee Vols of coaching hires.
Oh, that's a comparison that you don't want in your future.
No, I mean, I don't know many Jets fans. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but man, people love this kid. Maybe I'm missing something, but I mean, I will admit I'm not the most loyal BYU football viewer. But
all right.
May I remind you guys that real quick, Darnold's probably most reliable receiver last year towards the end of the year was a 5'9" Caucasian feller from the University of Miami, Braxton Berrios. I mean, he's 5'9", like 160 pounds. Give me a break. You know what I mean? Like,
you knew that.
I don't understand it. It's just a super jet move. So as a Raider fan, the Raiders have super Raider moves. This is a super jet move.
Yeah, this guy literally looks like he's 16.
I wouldn't even go that far.
All right.
And he's about to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. All right. Niners talk. We'll get to the Niners.
Just like Flash Gordon.
Let's wrap up the Jets. Let's go on to the Niners now. The Niners war room is applauding already. I want to bring in Justin Thomas, who is he's one of the biggest Florida State fans I've ever met, but he is also hardcore 49ers fan for life. Justin, welcome to the show, buddy.
Good to be here. Got the George Kittle jersey on. Man, I hate to see Robert Salou take Wilson, dadgummit. I was hoping he would throw a monkey wrench in there and really shake this draft up, but man, this is going to be interesting. I hope we get Jones. Nothing against Garoppolo. I mean, he got us to the big game. A lot of dadgum quarterbacks would love to get to there, but man, you go back and look at his track record. He's always hurt, and I get it, but man, we got to move forward because we got so much talent. And with this much talent, with George Kittle and Debo, and I mean, the list goes on both sides of the ball, you've got to look at the future. And I feel like it's like NASCAR, it's in football, etc. What can you do for me now? You got to win now. And we're seeing it even in college football, and you got to take the best talent available to try to win now. And, it's a tough road.
Hey, Justin, this is Rob. I've got a question for you. What is you're about to throw your phone against the wall pick? What are they going to do that will really piss you off?
If they wasn't off to take a quarterback, keep Garoppolo, we took Kyle Pitts, I wouldn't be as bad as you'd have Kittle and Pitts, but I'd also say we still got the quarterback that's always hurt. It wouldn't shock me if something crazy like that because they kept you hush-hush, but if you took Justin Fields, it would piss me off.
Let me ask you that too. Justin, I mean, didn't Kittle miss 8-9 games last year? He does a lot for that team. Gonzalez-esque blocks, out in the, running patterns, take huge hits. Would it be a horrible thing if they got Pitts? I mean, a 2 tight end set, and then if Pitts or Kittle went down, you have that guy?
No, I don't think it's a bad hit because we would actually give him breathers. We'd actually be stronger on both sides of the ball. But again, you still got a quarterback that stays hurt. So what do? Do we trade him, wait another year? Well, everybody gets a year older, and, Bosa's contract. I mean, the list goes on. It's kind of like a coin toss. So I really feel like you've got to take a quarterback right here if that's what you really want. But it shocked me today when they done the Aaron Rodgers, kind of called opponent. I'm like, whoa, what's this? But we ain't got enough value in our trade picks because we moved to 3. We give up a lot. Yeah. So I really think this is the first time and the last time we'll be this close to the draft with a very loaded roster just because we had 47-something people started different positions or started for us. So here we go.
Quickly, if they pick Kyle Pitts, I'm going to throw some shit. Stuff.
Here we go.
That's not.
Oh my!
I won my bet. Yeah. Yes. I was on a BetMGM, no endorsement, but I did have a plus 250 or 300 on Trey Lance right here.
Have you saw the pick yet, Justin?
He's groaning. That maybe yes. Hey, I won my bet. I'm pretty stoked.
Oh man, things just got wild.
So
I told you. They said that Lance was big in San Francisco.
There have been stories breaking over the last day that Lance was moving up the board. So, Justin, how do you feel about Trey Lance to the 49ers? By the way, that cost me a bunch of money, y'all.
Opposite for me. I won a bunch of money. I called this. Thank you very much.
With George Kittle doing his little short routes, Debo doing a lot of short routes like either slants, outs, etc. It doesn't shock me with Trey Lance because he is quick and dynamic. I told you that. But he's not proven. This is basically a Heisman winner against UTC ball.
Yeah, good point.
Hey, what pick were they? What pick did they have before they traded all this to get to number 3?
We get about 2. Let's see.
I think
Next year's and the
No,
following.
but what pick were they going to be?
I believe they were pick 11.
Oh man.
Oh, we were 16.
Pick 16.
16, somewhere about there. So I feel like if Trey Lance was out there and it wasn't our brand going after him, he probably would have still been there. This is kind of shocking. But I'm not going to say it's bad because I trust in Lynch and Shanahan, but my word, this is kind of like, I told Randall, I said, I kind of feel like he's the least on the board next to Justin Fields.
I can't believe they traded so much so early and not waited to see how the draft played out. And wow, this is a shock for me.
I'm going to tell you this. I want to reverse it now to the Falcon fans. Now do you go get a Mac Jones that I've been saying?
Oh. Mac Jones with Calvin Ridley. Oh.
Let me go ahead
Julio
and speak
Jones.
to Falcon Nation.
Oh.
No. They gave up the 12th overall pick and 2 number ones to
Wait, we just heard, didn't we just hear how Mac Jones is just like Matt Ryan and he's the heir apparent and you have the natural replacement?
Let's move on.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's funny though,
Hey,
real quick, is when we
if
used to
the
say the
pick
window
is-
was closing.
If
Real quick, when we used to say the window was closing and you drafted a rookie QB, that meant the window was closed. Nowadays, drafting a rookie QB from North Dakota State gives Niner fans more optimism than Jimmy G, which is kind of crazy. And for the record, I like the pick. I really do.
So let me go ahead and say this, and this is, I've been joking around. If the pick next is Mac Jones, if the pick had been Trey Lance or Justin Fields, I think I would have been upset. Just because of my grade, I have a higher grade on Mac Jones. I would be more okay with Mac Jones than I would Justin Fields at this point.
Well, if you're okay with Mac Jones, and I think the Falcons try to trade back a couple.
That phone may be ringing right now for real.
I mean, what does this do to Mac Jones? Where does he drop to?
Because you got Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit, then at 8 with the Panthers. Maybe that's where.
Let me tell you what I think is happening.
Is he better than Darnold?
I think the phone is ringing to the Falcons to see if a team up around Boston can come up to 4. I think
no.
That would be a real possibility.
I think New England's
that's almost too perfect.
I think New England's looking back towards Fields. I would say, man, it'd be a lot to give up. I don't know.
Even down to the goofy haircut, that would be a perfect fit.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Justin, we got to get on to our Falcons guy, but I'm going to give you the last word. I want you to just sum up your feelings of this pick, and then we'll get we'll get on to Howie, the Falcons guy. How do you feel about your pick, Justin?
Interesting. Justin Lynch, Justin Shanahan, and your ball club around them. I don't think Lance is proven because, like I said, it's like he won a Heisman against UTC type playing ball. We all know how that is. It's a different league. But, hey, now I think we got somebody that can go against Arizona, Russell Wilson. Maybe that's their mindset because we got speed. We can do run pass option, RPO. I don't know. We'll see. Good luck with you, Falcons, buddy.
Hey, Rams #1 defense in the NFL right down the street. Lance is going to do a lot better than Mac Jones running for his life.
Don't run too far. Don't run too far. If there's certain FSU player comes up here in a little bit, I may give you a call back.
Man, I hope so. Devo Samuel Shotty. Anyway, I was so tore up over his draft. I can't remember
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you joining us for real. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Good luck in the future.
It sure did. All right, buddy. Bye.
I like the pick, dude. I had money in on it. Pick is in. Let's see. I thought it would be Lance down to the stretch. Down the stretch, rather. I saw the hype, and I put it on BetMGM. Jamie Foxx told me to. So
I just don't know why you trade up that much to get. I mean,
that's a lot.
That's a king's ransom.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot. It's a good point.
Howie Cheney. The Falcons are headed to the elevated to the pick. Welcome in, Falcon fan Howie Cheney. Who's on that card right now, Howie?
I just heard Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, a little bit ahead of him.
Yeah, we're trying to play some.
Yeah, you're breaking news live on 3R Sports.
I might give you a comment tonight, guys.
So the Falcons take Kyle Pitts with the 4th overall pick. Howie, how do you feel about that as a Falcons fan?
I'm excited because our main trouble last year, besides the defense, and everybody knows about the defensive troubles, but we had trouble in the red zone. Imagine running a 12 offense with Cordell and Kyle Pitts in the slots with Ridley and Jones on the outsides in the red zone with Mike Davis as the running back.
Oh, you already calling plays up there.
Man, it's been something I've been thinking about all day long. You should know that as much as I catch you.
Let me ask you, does this make Julio more expendable, less expendable, or status quo?
Well, yeah, Allie, we've had some talks about it. What does this do to Julio's future with Atlanta?
Here's what I've been wanting, which they don't give me what I want, or I'd have free season tickets every year. But I would like to see the new offensive coach with this offense we had last year with Pitts just for one season to see what happens. And then, do something with Jones.
This is going to free up Julio a lot.
He's on the field.
I just wrote down 6'6", 245, 4'4", 40. The guy's a 99 on Madden already.
That's not right. That's just not right, dude. You're not supposed to do that. No,
well, in a team that's struggling for salary cap, it does save the Falcons $2.5 million, not carrying a third receiver. Basically, you go into the game now. You only dress 4 receivers, right, Howie?
Yes, right. And you also got to look at this with Cordell being there. He can go both ways, running back / wide receiver, so he could actually take up the slack.
Cordarrelle's a journeyman for a reason. Right now, I'm thinking about Matt Ryan must be the happiest man in Georgia. Adding this dude and not getting replaced. Wow. I mean, this guy is a freak. He's a freak of nature. He is Julio Jones, but a little bit bigger, I believe. Unbelievable receiving core. And the rest of the NFC South should be very scared.
Howie, not to take you to another team, but were you shocked by the 49ers taking Trey Lance?
Well, I'm here with the girls, how much, they're into the sports and Falcons and all that, but when that pick was made, all I could say was, wow. Jamie Lee is into it. She keeps up with it. And her exact words was, wow, I can't believe that.
Well, you are an Alabama fan, too. I mean, the girls grew up with Mac Jones. Either one of y'all got a question for Howie about how they might use Pitts or anything else about Pitts?
My question for is
he get drafted, if he was drafted to the Falcons, we wouldn't be talking right now. I would have hung up because I'd been extremely upset.
Go ahead, Robbie.
That's what I asked our previous caller. What was the throw the phone at the wall pick? And I guess it would have been anybody but Pitts, right?
Yeah.
My question is, can Pitts play corner or safety?
Can Pitts play corner or safety? We don't know. We're going to lose.
Put Julio out there on, at certain times to play safety, like on Hail Marys and stuff. So you never know what he is as big as he is. We do need a pass.
Better than what you got now. Better than what you got now.
Hey,
Well,
I'm all about the football teams that's going to score 40 points and give up 51. The one in Knoxville and one in Atlanta.
well, the division.
When does Tennessee score 40 points exactly?
Well, now that we got Josh Heupel.
Well,
You know,
they do score 40 points, but it takes 3 games for them to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go
Boom.
One quick thing is, I don't think we're picking Pitts right here if there is a stud defensive player out there that's 100%
Yes.
spot on.
I've
We'll be getting that defensive player, but this year's draft is probably, I hate to use the word weakest, but could be one of the weakest defensive drafts there is.
all right, I've got one question before you go. So Atlanta 4-12 last year. Add a stud tight end. New Orleans gets much worse. Yes or no? Atlanta in the playoffs next year or this year?
That's hard to say because you got a feller down in Tampa Bay by the number 12, but you're only more likely going to get one team out of the NFC least or the East make it. So this possibility the Falcons could make the playoffs at 7 and 9, or actually 8 and 9 this coming season with 17 games now.
Oh, well, if Aaron Rodgers retires or doesn't come back, I'm looking at the NFC. Only 3 teams can make it out of the West.
Yeah. Hey,
By the way,
I'll step out on this tightrope. I think the Falcons make the playoffs next year. And as bad as I think the defense was, I think a lot of it had to do with scheme. I think the number one problem we had at time last year was we were trying to fit a bunch of round holes in the square pegs, and it just didn't.
Well,
work.
now it all makes sense because you drafted a tight end from Florida. So you're right. I think just like Tennessee, you're winning 10 games.
You have 5 losses by combined. Hey, nobody lost.
Here we go.
Nobody.
Here we go.
Nobody lost football games like the Falcons did.
I know.
Well, if they could stop somebody, they wouldn't have lost those games.
We lost a game because we scored a touchdown.
Aaron Burt says Falcons 7 and 10.
Yeah, 7 and 10.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite thing in sports. Falcons fans know what it's like to win and lose a Super Bowl in the same night.
Yes, we do. I don't because I went to bed.
What?
I went to bed. 4th quarter. Started 4th.
Wait. Hold on. You went
on the defensive side there. The reports came out after Quinn left was he had one coach calling defense for first and second down plays, and then a third coach or second coach calling for third down plays. I don't know a lot about football, but I know that's not the right way to do it.
Touche.
When New England scored and made it 28-7, 28-17. I went to bed.
So you went to sleep thinking your team won the Super Bowl, and you woke up
lost the Super Bowl because it was.
You really didn't watch it after that?
No, you knew it was coming.
Wow. I mean, I agree, but still, my
daughter at the time put me in bed. Was like, Dad, if you don't want to see New England come back and win, we need to go to bed.
Hey.
So
that's the most amazing story I've ever heard. I mean,
yeah, man. Even in a Hot Tub Time Machine, that squirrel came on the field from nowhere. You never know.
So, all right.
So you went to bed thinking you lost the Super Bowl.
We were winning by 11 points, but I felt we were going to lose the game.
What if they had won?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge what if, but how would you have felt like?
I had a DVR.
Yeah, but you went to bed. Here comes the pick, by the way. The Bengals pick is in.
I was
Oh.
I almost wore my Lookouts championship T-shirt. That's the only time I ever won a championship as a fan.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, LSU reuniting
No,
with Joe Burrow.
I'm not surprised at all. I think that's the pick.
He looks dope.
I think that's the pick Joe Burrow wanted.
I don't know. I would have taken the offensive tackle.
What he wants, don't you?
Yeah.
I take left tackle, but this dude looks rad. That is a sweet out. He's ready to go. You can tell.
But now this is a super deep tackle class. I mean, I really think with pick 37, you're going to get a pick. You're going to get a player, especially the way people seem to be sliding right now. Howie, man, I appreciate you joining us. Stay close. We might need you again.
I enjoy it, guys. You know, if it's like it was 2 years ago, Atlanta traded back into the first round, but they just don't have that salary cap room right now to be able to do that. So I think we're done till tomorrow night.
Hey, where's Najee Harris end up? Best guess.
Well, my heart says I want him in Atlanta, but you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if he's available later on, he could end up with his running mate back from Alabama at Miami and end up down there.
All right. We'll see it all play out. Thanks, Howie.
Thanks, guys. See
Bye.
ya.
By the way, if they trade Julio, they'll have plenty of cap flexibility to jump back up in this round. Again, this is the question, Chase. You get more help on the outside or a left tackle in Sewell that, you know, and if Sewell probably played last year versus opting out and was basically played at the same level of ability, I would think he would be the guy. I mean, but this dude is, I mean, he's legit, and obviously he's got a ridiculous relationship and rapport with Burrow. So,
but Chase was
must know what they're
opt-out
doing.
too. Chase opted out, and Sewell, and
you're right. Apologies.
People felt that Chase's opt-out was just you know, he didn't want to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to play for free either. Well, I guess I saw the LSU championship. I saw the cash flowing out. You know, maybe I would have played. And that's not even allegedly. I actually saw the cash flying out.
Going to the Bengals will be a pay cut for him, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That was a little different having guests in, guys. That was a lot of fun. So let me ask you a question.
I would say Aaron should call in, but he doesn't have an NFL team. He was a Chargers fan. They just left him.
That's good.
Well, Chargers don't really have fans, and they definitely don't have fans that follow them. Like the Raiders fans, they're used to the picking up and leaving, but the Raider fans follow. Charger fans are like, yeah, we're okay.
They're in San Diego, dude. They go, okay, it's 75 every day. Look where I live. I'm good. Forget them.
So best available: Sewell, Justin Fields, Jalen Waddle, Micah Parsons, Devontae Smith.
We have Mac Jones.
Well, on my list, Mac Jones is down, but hold on.
Oh.
I think
let me take that back. I was so sure I mocked him out. Sewell, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Jalen Waddle, Micah Parsons, Devontae Smith.
What if Miami with Tua took Mac Jones, Tua's successor at this pick? That would be pretty cool.
So do they go Jalen Waddle or do they get I'd go offensive line, I think. I mean,
or Devontae Smith.
I'd go Waddle. I think Waddle would have won the Heisman if he didn't get hurt. Devontae Smith is a quick twitch nightmare, but Waddle's even more of a stud.
Yeah, but what does Miami need? You know, they got Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, who's a big dude. Preston Williams is a little guy, but Devontae Parker is 6'3", 211. They need a guy that can move. And I think Devontae is a better fit for them.
Well,
they also need a guy that could help.
You got a point because Tua is a slant passer. Devontae can get that jerk off and get to the middle.
So do you not think Miami right now is getting tons of calls? If you need a left tackle, at 6, you can come up and get Sewell.
Oh,
Arguably, he's the best player. Not, I mean,
these next 3 teams are getting flooded with calls. Miami, Detroit, and Carolina.
With Sewell and Mac Jones out there, they're going to get whatever they want.
And Denver, even though they just traded for Bridgewater, I mean, you just trade him back to somebody else.
pick is in for the Miami Dolphins. Guys,
They knew what
wanna
they
take a
wanted to
guess?
do. I'm going Devontae.
I'm going offensive lineman. I'm going Sewell.
I mean, can't go wrong with either of those dudes, but I think they need a playmaker.
Well, Sewell's a left tackle, right?
Yes.
Correct. So that would be Tua needs a right tackle.
Well, they got Austin Jackson out of USC last year, who's not a true left tackle. So
I believe I think it's Devontae Smith. I'm going with Devontae.
The flip side is they got 2 running backs that are pretty scattish, if you will, that are kind of a quick twitch, but we'll see right here.
Jalen Waddle.
Wow.
University of Alabama.
Congrats, Rob. I mean, you're right. When he went down, I mean, Devontae Smith, no way he wins the Heisman without Waddle going down. That's a fact. You were right. He was the beast before.
That's just how stacked Alabama was this year.
Oh,
and guys, you remember, quickly, let's get caught up. We're at pick 7. And I said I thought we could go 9 deep and not have a defensive player drafted. We're at pick 7. No defensive players taken yet.
By the way, we talked about scat backs. Waddle's 5'10". Devontae Smith is 6'1". They both are around 180 pounds, depending on whether or not it's raining. Waddle looks like a bigger dude, but this isn't exactly getting, Keyshawn Johnson out there. So basically the same thing.
If you would have asked me how tall Waddle was or what his measurement, I would have been like 6'2", 210.
Me too. I looked it up. I had to look it up. And
at his pro day.
Because Devontae's what, 6 foot 160? I mean, he's
160, yeah.
He weighed in at 159 pounds at his pro day.
Good grief.
I need to be on
right.
his side.
But I mean,
you're going to get killed in the NFL at that weight.
Is he Tyreek Hill? I mean, Tyreek Hill's what, 175, 180?
He's not that fast.
Waddle?
Yep. Hold on just a second.
I mean, we forget how Detroit's pick is already in. We had thought about and hypothesized that Detroit could trade down.
I got to pick. I got to bring somebody in. My old running partner. Welcome to the broadcast, Dennis Swaney. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Hey, D. Swain.
What's happening?
You watching this draft?
I mean, I'm up to date. Tell me, as of right now, all I can say
is he messing with us?
San Francisco was headed in the right direction.
I know your opinion was real low of Trey Lance.
I mean, we've got one guy from North Dakota State that played the position.
Is this only in slow-mo for me or for anybody else?
He lost his job, and he may not even be the starter in his new home. And this kid started one college game this past year and lost in Division II.
Right.
And he's number 3 kick overall.
Did you think the pick would have been? Do you think it was Mac Jones there?
I thought it was going to be Mac Jones. He, to me, just thinking he fits Shanahan or Shanahan that's out there, Mike Shanahan.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I thought he fit his system well. I mean, to me, he's coming out of college. He's
Yeah.
And I thought he'd be ideal in San Francisco.
Robbie, what you want to ask D. Swain any questions here about the last pick with Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, I mean, just what did you think Miami was going to go there, and what do you think of the pick?
I don't think it's a bad pick. I mean, as long as he's fully healthy, the dude's a speedster and he's back with Tua. They've already got that chemistry you like. I don't think it was a bad pick. I mean, I think the guy's pretty electrifying. He's, as much as I love my boy Kadarius Toney, he's probably a little better NFL-ready receiver than Toney is. Tony's great athletically and when he's in space and all that, but Waddle runs nice routes. And like I said, him and Tua are already going to have that chemistry. To me, that's pretty big.
And to follow up on that, it seems like you had Burrow going with his old receiver, Tua going with his old receiver. Are the quarterbacks, when you see what happened with Aaron Rodgers, when you see what happened with Russell Wilson in Seattle, when you see what happened with Tom Brady, are we seeing a change in the quarterbacks getting more power and more say in the roster than we've seen ever before?
Ryan's like, he trucked him. I'm like, he ain't trucking quarterbacks in the NFL. He's going to get fined because they're paying these dudes money not to be sitting on the sideline with separate shoulders. So, yes, I do think quarterbacks carry a lot more weight, not just being field generals, but off the field now than they ever have.
Well, a few questions while we got D. Swain here. We're going to get to the Cowboys real fast, but let's run back a couple of picks. You knew how excited I was. Now, you're a Gator, been a Gator a lot. What does you've watched every game that Kyle Pitts has played. Atlanta get in Kyle Pitts?
They've got a matchup nightmare. It's level. Still not going to have cornerbacks that can handle him physically. Still not going to have safeties or linebackers that can run with him. And it's just not too long ago about the fact that he's going to block some, but on third down, they put him in the slot or even out wide. He doesn't. The dude's just a freak. He's what I envision LeBron James being a football player.
That's pretty good enough.
So that's why the Detroit. I mean,
go ahead. What's that, Roger?
I was saying if you watch the NFL network coverage, you saw the Detroit War Room going nuts, doing backflips, and I was wondering why. Now I see why they got Penei Sewell. I mean, wow, that's for him to fall down to them, a perennial Pro Bowler, in my opinion, at tackle. You can build so much around him. That's a great pick. And, yeah, Detroit did something right.
So what he was saying, D. Swain, we're breaking up a little bit, was with Detroit, I've got to give the tackle Swill falling all the way down to the 8th pick. It's kind of surprising. The best offensive lineman in the draft, supposedly in a decade, falls down to number 8.
It's about time Detroit made a logical, intelligent pick because I usually screw that up. But when you get a Pro Bowl type offensive lineman, efforts getting on up there in years, so I think the Detroit thing to do is they're gonna grab a quarterback. Well, they played it smart and they got them an offensive lineman. There, like I hated Joe Thomas. I'm always admired because that guy never wanted out of Cleveland, and he was a star the entire time he played in the NFL. I think the guy being kind of cut from the same cloth.
Forward's going crazy. Of course, that's golf. D. Swain because they traded off a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it benefits Jared Goff, and I mean, Goff better than Stafford.
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys. But I think Jared Goff's got some game. I've seen him look really good. I think it's subpar, but that's a good step in the right direction drafting that guy. Let's talk about the Jets screwing up again.
Robbie, you go ahead. Robbie led that charge a minute ago. What did you say about Wilson at the time?
Oh, I mean, I just think it's doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Stop, check, just mic check. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I just switched to my headphones.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I've been having issues overall. The ramble is fuzzy.
Wait, did you say I am okay or not okay?
You're okay now.
Okay. Yeah, I just think the Jets were just a dumb pick, and I think there were simpler options there, and they just rolled the dice on a kid that I'm not saying Zack Wilson isn't going to be good. I just think it's a horrible fit. A kid from Utah going to New York City.
He said basically we're getting some feed signal right now.
I wonder if
that Field was a horrible pick. I mean, not Field, but Field. Wilson was a horrible pick that you got a quarterback from Utah going to New York.
Yes.
Yep.
That talking alone. He may end up. Who knows? But so basically saying Sam Darnold was we were done for taking him. So I got the count. Get a guy that in half the season went from 6. They can't come on. You got your quarterback, and the quarterback that threw for 50 touchdowns in a 10-game SEC season. And you go with this guy because Mel Kiper said he was going to draft. Come on.
Don't make a lot of sense. Hold on, these Robbie, can you try your volume?
All I heard was that, come on. And I get it.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's too many Bluetooth. So I took my Bluetooth back off.
Robbie. So go ahead.
Can't hear.
D. Swain, here, buddy. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I can't hear him at
I
all.
appreciate you calling in and but any thoughts about Dallas real fast before you get off here?
I mean, they need defensive help first and foremost. They get. They got to get an elite cornerback. And stud pass rusher would be nice too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of look for them maybe to go Surtain. Early in the draft. So they're coming up in 2 picks, but so far.
Oh, yeah, no question. And a chance we'll talk more about it.
All right, buddy. Well, we got to reset our signal, man. It's great to hear from you.
I'm surprised Carolina's sticking here.
All right, thank you. Bye. Robbie, can you try your mic?
Can I what?
Everybody, we're going to take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, man, I couldn't hear any of that really.
I can hear you guys fine now, though.
Could you
hear me
hear
okay?
homeboy?
Oh no, he was cutting in and
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
I'm
I heard like
surprised.
every third word.
I'm surprised Carolina kept this pick right here. I'm interested to see what it is.
Dude, it's Horn again ahead of Sertan. We talked about it. Suddenly, he became the darling. I mean, obviously a big corner. People love Gilmore, of the same ilk, literally and figuratively. But
So this is
yeah,
going to
that's
be
an
a
interesting
good.
pick.
This is going to be a good tracking comparison. Darnold
Josh
versus
Norman, number 2.0.
Darnold versus the Wilson kid. Who has a better career?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit like Tannehill, and it just being the coach and the organization. Like Tannehill was horrible at Miami, and then turns around, he's a very serviceable and was even trying to get a little bit of MVP votes there at some point, or not MVP votes, but playing at MVP level. He had some numbers that were very comparable to Mahomes there for a while.
Well, if I'm Darnold now, I've got McCaffrey, I've got DJ Moore. I think Samuel left. Curtis Samuel was signed elsewhere, but I mean, far better weapons. And now I got a pretty darn good near lockdown corner to help me out. I'd be thrilled. I mean, Sam Darnold's got to be the happiest dude on earth right now. And plus, he's out of New York and in Carolina, where, I mean, the biggest aspect in terms of the media following you is, what you had for dinner. What are your meat and three? What
Right.
Your three sides there. Yeah, I don't. It's just the Jets being the Jets, and I'm expecting the Raiders to go Raider. Same teams do the same thing. We talked about teams that move up. It's always the teams that work their flexibility the best. Teams like New England and Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and the same type of teams are always in the playoffs.
I can't believe,
and that's obviously a reason for that.
Can you hear
Test
me?
it again, Randall. It's still scratchy.
Still,
Not really.
I was just thinking, Raj, like people that, if anyone's watching us that's not affiliated with our draft and everything, I'm like, man, this draft is going so fast. Like our first round in our fantasy league takes way longer than this.
We are a lot more entertaining, though.
That is true.
Yeah, dude, I can hear you fine. But Randall and D-Sway, who called in, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, I think Randall may have too many devices up on his Wi-Fi because he says he's got an iPhone, iPad, all the Apple plugging. Probably
what generation of each of those,
Yeah, I know. What do you think? What do you think Denver's going to do here?
I mean, Mac Jones is still out there. They got Bridgewater. Is Bridgewater really going to be the end all be all there, or be all end all, whatever the expression is? I don't know. When you look at Denver, also their offensive line was pretty atrocious. You also have Sertan out. I think they let one of their DBs walk. I think Chris Harris had to go, or someone did. I've got to verify that. But Mac Jones is a lot better than Drew Lock or Bridgewater, and then you got Bridgewater to kind of mentor him. So that would not be a terrible pick. I'm not really excited about the right side of their line. They're pretty strong on defense overall, but again, they did have to. I think Ronald Darby is now their corner, and Kyle Fuller. So I would be DB or Mac Jones right here, or maybe one of the tackles, Rashawn Slater.
I agree. I think if I'm Denver and I don't trade out of this pick, Getting Mac Jones, who most people thought was going to go 3 overall. I go there and see if that's the guy.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Well, we finally found the culprit.
Much better.
To my internet problems. She's 10 and calls me daddy, and she just started her iPad and her TV and shut down the whole internet for the house. So
that was my hypothesis. I said, I think there's too many devices running.
Yep. So when she came in from outside playing and turned on her devices, it shut me down. So anyway, I'm back now. I'm sorry, D. Swain, if you're listening. I apologize. It was good to talk to him, guys. We did a show together for a year, so I love D. Swain. He has a girl. He was really down on.
I heard it.
But back to Denver. I don't know how you don't pick Mac here. You're desperate for a quarterback if you're Denver. There was talking about Denver moving up to get a quarterback. And now you've got your pick of Fields or Mac. How do you not make that?
Yeah.
Fields.
I agree.
He's out there too. Fields is wow.
Where's New England?
So New England's getting a quarterback. I would be shocked if they don't. They're going to make a move.
Right now, they're sitting at 15, right? So
yes.
Yeah, they could jump up, and that's interesting.
This pick's been in for a while.
I think it's one of those.
Well, you got Washington football
Mac
team
is
at
a smart
14.
pick, but Fields would be a good guy to market around. He'd be a nice dude as a face of the franchise.
Man, you look at the Eagles sitting at 12. Jalen Hurts is your starter. They may land one of these quarterbacks also.
So if you're New England and Denver doesn't take one, you could probably survive 10, 11, and 12. Dallas is not taking a quarterback. New York's not taking a quarterback. Maybe Philly takes a quarterback.
Nope.
You got Philly and Washington.
Chargers are not taking a quarterback.
Oh, no, it's Minnesota. So
Minnesota's
Washington.
No, sorry. I messed up the draft order.
It's Minnesota.
Minnesota, yes. So you've got between now, let's review that at the end of the pick. The pick is in.
If New England gets a quarterback and doesn't have to move, that's just typical Bill Belichick outsmarting everyone.
Oh, is that Barrel Man? Is that guy still alive?
I'm on YouTube TV, so I'm a little delayed.
Sertan, they went with the corner.
What a crap the bed pick that is.
They went with her. Wow.
All right, now you're New England.
I mean, he's an awesome corner. His dad was dope. Woo!
You're New England.
Talk about the media in Denver, huh?
You've got the 10, Dallas, 11, the Giants, 12, the Eagles, 13, the Chargers, and 14, the Vikings in front of you. New England just got a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, and their pick of a quarterback. Their pick between Fields and Jones.
Yes, unless Philly makes a move or somebody comes up. If I'm the Washington football team at 19, I'm trying to make a move right now. Raj, I heard you talk about Surtain. He was my third corner in this class. I didn't like the way he attacked the football. He's a guy I saw in person twice. I also saw J.C. Horn twice in person. I thought Horn was more athletic, and I thought Farley was more physical. But with Surtain, you get what you said. You get a pedigree of a guy who is the son of an NFL player, and not that he can't be a star. I mean, being the third corner in a class is not bad. But I just thought that Farley was by far.
Let's look at that division.
Okay, yeah,
Farley,
let's talk about it.
Look at that division. You know, you got Tyreek Hill, Ruggs in Oakland or Vegas, wherever they are. Keenan Allen is a little bit bigger for the Chargers. You know, they don't need a big brooding corner, and they lost both of their corners from last year. You know, they need a dude that can make plays and that's going to get up on them and can run with anybody. And I think this is a definite reaction to Kansas City. A complete reactionary pick, which to me is a good pick. I'm sure people in Denver are always going to, you know, what if, and if Fields or Mac Jones becomes a stud, then, yeah, it'll be fodder, if you will. But I'm not mad at the pick at all, and I do not like Denver in the least. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with this. And, again, I think it's reactionary. I think he was born to be a DB in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, he's a stud. I mean, he is.
He is. You know, it kind of comes down to where do you rank him versus other studs. Go ahead, Robbie.
Oh, I guess you're looking at LA Chargers, and you're looking at Oakland, you're looking at some offenses, and are you building a defensive team to say we're going to counteract and we think Bridgewater may be the guy? Bridgewater is certainly serviceable, and do we do the opposite of them? Instead of gambling on a rookie, let's build a great defense and get people up a mile high and see if we can win this thing. Because the Chargers are going to air it out. Oakland's going to air it out. So, I actually like the more I think about it, I like the pick better than I initially thought of. And especially, we talked about it. Everyone was sold on Lawrence. All these other quarterbacks, we like them, but they're by no means can't miss. So there may be something to this. Like, hey, just because they fall to us does not mean we change our draft strategy of what we need and what we want.
I think Dallas was prepared to take Surtain with the next pick.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Now the Cowboys have traded.
It's a trade. It's like Philly
Eagles
moved up to that within the division. By the way, on the NFL Network, it says the Dallas Cowboy draft room, the fully vaccinated Dallas Cowboy draft room. Just FYI, it does say that. But a divisional trade, intra-divisional trade, that's very interesting. And they wanted Surtain. I think everyone knows that. He's gone. Trade down. And the question is, what's Philly going to do? Are they going after Mac or Fields?
First defensive player took at pick 9.
I don't think so, Raj, because why would Philly trade up when you have Dallas and the Giants drafting ahead of you to take a quarterback?
They moved
Dallas.
What would they be trading up for?
They had to move. Their goal was to move in front of Philly, obviously. I mean, of the Giants. So you would think maybe wide receiver. Are they?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they like.
Yeah, they weren't thrilled with. Absolutely, and they drafted Rager last year, but the report is they weren't thrilled with his work ethic and what he has done. They're secondary too. A lot of people thought Horn would last until then. So Dallas gets the 12th overall pick and a third round, the 84th, for Philly to go from 12th to 10. So good on you, Jerry. I would have done the same thing.
Absolutely. 100
Farley
times.
is out there too. This is a team that lost. I think there's, they have Darius Slay, but the right side is wide open. So, I guess we'll see, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went quarterback here, because the flip side is what message does that send to young Jalen Hurts?
Well, my thing is,
this is also a team. This team had, I think they allowed 65 sacks last year, by far the most in the NFL. The second most and third most and fourth were 3 teams tied with 50, I believe. 15 more sacks than anybody else. Their offensive line was dead. Brandon Brooks, all these guys got hurt. I mean, you got Slater here, Vera Tucker, that can play different positions on the entire line. He can play everything but center.
But you have to
we'll see. But Devontae is.
You have to believe you just traded in front of who the Giants was going to take to spend that price. And I think the Giants have been most closely associated with the wide receiver in Devontae Smith. Or the shocking thing to me would be to take Micah Parsons. Do you think the Giants were going to? I think it's one of those two players. I think it's either Devontae Smith or Micah Parsons. Because you got to think it's got to be somebody you perceive the Giants has taken.
Or did New England call?
I think Devontae
Dallas
was just on the phone.
Did somebody call Dallas and say, we want your spot? And he came back and said,
guys, this is the most fun broadcast I've ever done.
Hey, so let me ask you guys this. At what point in this first round do we get, if any, on Aaron Rodgers' watch?
I would think
I think it's a lot of squawk. I think this is Devontae. I think New England at 15 could be fine getting the quarterback they want. And I think Rodgers is just talking. So this year, that whatever they do, they're going to ask him instead of last year where they took his future replacement at 26. He was in the NFC Championship game last year. He's a staple in one of the most loyal football cities there is. He's just barking, in my opinion. You can't trade him.
Well, if I agree, but this is what we start the day with. Does he walk? Does he say, I'm done? I've made my money. I've won a Super Bowl. I'm done if I don't come back.
I don't think so. I think he's too much fire in that guy. I think he still knows he can play.
Looking at the draft board right now, and in my head, the Falcons made the most obvious pick of the first 10. I mean, it's obvious what they needed to do.
For
Here
sure.
comes the pick.
Well, maybe besides Jacksonville, but yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, Jacksonville's been made since the day they won they finished last. Guys,
I'm astounded.
I'm going to call Devontae Smith.
I think you're right. I saw him on the phone, but I'm astounded by how much talent is still left on the board. It's insane.
Yeah. This draft is loaded.
Loaded. And as a Raider fan, I'm sure they'll mess it up. They need defense, but they got their pick of all kinds of guys.
Devontae Smith
to
the New England Patriots. So, to the Philadelphia.
Deshaun 2.0, maybe.
So, that is the third reunion of quarterback and wide receiver we've seen in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
You now have Tua. Who'd Miami take?
Waddle.
Well,
no, I think Randall. I think you were off whenever I asked the question. Like it, given what's happened with Rodgers and what's happened with Wilson and what's happened with Brady, is this a shift? Are we seeing a shift of the quarterbacks? Are they getting so much power in who I want to play with?
Well, Robbie, I think you're seeing quarterbacks finally get some mobility in the NFL because you've seen quarterbacks being able to move at a rate that we've never seen. And let's face fact: if Deshaun Watson doesn't have half of the city of Houston suing him right now, he's probably moved in this process. You've seen that with, I think, and to use the example, which was a failure, but Nick Foles was really the first example of a quarterback choosing to move and going somewhere. So Stafford wanted out of Detroit, got out of Detroit. So, yeah, Robbie, to answer your question, I think quarterbacks are finally getting the level of power that maybe some NBA superstars have had in the past.
Yeah, you just reminded me of Houston. I forgot they were a team. What dumb trade did they make to lose this first round pick?
This was the Miami pick at 6. Actually, it was the San Francisco pick at 3.
They are the dumbest team in the NFL, and I remind you, the Lions are still in the NFL.
They traded
Bill O'Brien.
This was a trade for Laramie Tunsil.
The Raiders.
So you lose.
We got a trade here. The Bears are moving up.
Quarterback time.
Quarterback.
So many people thought the Giants wanted quarterback time. Many people thought the Giants at 11 wanted Miller Smith. Their offensive line, I believe, was second to last in the NFL last year, but Jones held onto the ball forever. They could certainly use a tackle, but we all know with Chicago jumping in, Andy Dalton is not going to do it. So it's going to be Fields or Mac Jones. I think we'd all put our money on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go step out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that it is been much rumored that New England was interested in Justin Fields. So if you're moving to get in front of New England right now, I think it's to prevent Justin Fields, unless you just covet Mac Jones to this level. Because I really think right now at this point, Mac Jones is sliding. I mean, obviously sliding. So I'm going to go. We're going to see. This is where we're going to see Justin Fields come off the board.
I think this is shaping up very nice for the Titans to get a pass rusher. All this offensive guys and them DBs going off. No edge rusher yet off the board. I like it.
I don't know what Adam Schefter is reporting, but he's doing it very, very loudly.
This isn't a huge edge rusher draft, though. I mean, that's one thing. The Raiders need one, too, after giving Mac away. But, yeah, there's a lot of defense out there.
I like Phillips from Miami and Pate from Washington. I mean, from Michigan. But also, there's a hybrid in Azeez Al-Jiri from Georgia that I think could be a stud rush. Yeah, I think he could be one of those elite, I only play third down rush type guys. So, Raj.
And guys, let's not forget that until
here it is, Justin Fields.
I was just saying until you think it is? Until the Niners started talking about Mac Jones, he wasn't exactly a top 5 overall talent or pick. You know, a lot of people had him pretty far down the list, and suddenly he becomes, you know, the guy that everyone's talking about. It's not shocking that he's still on the board. So I agree. I think Fields would be the guy here, especially in Chicago, where they're coming off of Trubisky.
I think it's Fields.
Well, then again, Trubisky like to.
To me, when you're watching this draft, and guys, y'all have done a great job. I cannot compliment you enough to how much you're prepared for this. When you see trades, it's always to move in front of somebody else. And I've been kind of holding on to that Fields to the Patriots for a while. And I really do think they covet it. From what I picked up from a Rivals writer, it's not my source, that New England had some covet of Justin Fields. So if you're going to make a trade right now, I think it's to get in front of New England. But at the same point, if you're New England and you end up with Mac Jones at 15, you're not disappointed either, I don't think.
No, I mean he's a more athletic, and obviously no one's compared to Tom Brady, but he's a pocket passer who has great feet. Talking about Mac Jones, great feet in the pocket, throws people open. Obviously, even though Alabama's always had 2 wide receivers taken, they tons of talent, but you still, I mean, we rarely saw him throw a bad pass. Even like the long passes were usually pretty accurate. I'll tell you what, if I am Chicago or New England, whoever the pick is here, I sleep more comfortably at night than the teams that reached for Wilson and Lance.
Absolutely. And counting the trade, giving up 3 number ones.
I think this is the team last was 25th or 26th in the NFL in offense.
I still just can't believe San Francisco gave, especially how the draft's going now. You're gonna look back and be like, you gave up all this. Maybe he's gonna be awesome. I hope he is.
I got a question after this pick for you, Robbie. To that vein. So
who is it? I'm watching the pick. Then I'm gonna take a quick timeout.
The next pick up is San Francisco's original pick. Is it worth 3 number ones to go from there to draft Trey Lance over whoever is not the pick here? Because if you were here at 12, you would be getting one of the quarterbacks.
Capital N, capital no.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. Capital no. All like exclamation point.
The Niners have lost the draft to me.
Yes.
Nah, man, who knows? I mean, I like that kid.
I like him. I mean, whether you like
Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. I am taking a break. You guys called it. He will look good in Chicago.
Wow.
Robbie, we originally talked about all these picks being boring because it was the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys, and it's turned into the most exciting part of the draft.
Yes, indeed.
Wow, great. Let's reset our draft board right now. Best available, Robbie: Mac Jones, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater, Caleb Farley, Kawhi Pate, and you've got to start thinking about the teams that need rush-ins. You're going to come out with the best rush in this draft, somewhere in the mid-teens. Christian Darrisaw. I mean, that's a lot of talent still on this board.
Yeah. A ton of talent. You have wow. Like this thing has opened up. Like I agree with you. I thought it was going to be kind of boring. It was going to be, oh, here we go. But no, I mean, you look at the edge rusher from Michigan, Parsons.
Right.
You've got the kid from Georgia, edge rusher. Like, yeah, this is going to be interesting now. So now Mac Jones is the only one left. Yes, I agree. Raj has a higher opinion than we do. And it's not even a higher opinion. The Niners just overpaid for a risky pick.
Yeah.
And overpaid a lot.
All right, so they're sitting there right now. And here was the question I was going to ask. If they don't take Trey Lance at 3, is he still on the board?
If Mac Jones is, yes.
I think they could have stayed at 12 and got Trey Lance.
They fell in love with him, and the question is, did somebody bluff them out of it? And they thought they had to go get him.
The only, it would be interesting to find out. And the fact that they moved in front of the Falcons.
Right. Like that spot.
That particular spot, I do not find odd.
Well, I'm looking at instant grades on CBS. Lawrence A+, Wilson B, Lance C-, Pitts A, Chase B+, Waddle B+. The only thing below a B in the first round is a C- for Lance.
You know,
I don't know if the trades have anything to do with that. I haven't read into it, but in a draft,
feel the way we do. You could have stayed where you were at and came out possibly with Lance.
And this is a top 11 draft where it's been A's, B+, and B's, and the C- is from the team that gave up the most to get there. In the toughest division in football.
And they've leveraged their franchise that Trey Lance is the guy. Wow. So the next big thing for us, Robbie, is we've got a couple of 3 picks here. It looks like we're going to make it past the Patriots if we go to the 10 o'clock hour. Well, no, we're not. The pick is in for the Cowboys.
I think they may go Farley.
I think I want to say Farley because you know how much I think of him. But for some reason, I just think the Cowboys usually do something that shocks me. So I'm going to go with Micah Parsons here just because of the perceived value. But I think Farley's the actual pick.
Hey, they lost Sean Lee. He finally retired, even though he doesn't play much. They could use a middle linebacker.
Yep, you're right.
Let's not forget that. I mean, this draft is setting up for the Raiders to miraculously screw it up again. They need defense, and I'm weeping. There's a lot of talent out there on defense, man.
At this rate, the Titans aren't going to pick till 1 a.m.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, this is.
But hey, this is still quicker than our draft.
True.
Yeah, we would still be in the 5th pick.
We'd still be arguing about the rules and how we determine the draft status. Hey, can we get RiverCity-Media to live stream our draft, or is that gonna shut down the whole company?
We probably can't go on the newspaper and do it. But we could probably.
I want my face blurred in advance.
It would be like the League, the TV show, but like the real life version, much better and much more realistic.
Well, I'm gonna go one thing, Rod. They're gonna notice you even if we blur your face.
Yeah, be like, who's that dummy making all those stupid picks?
They're gonna be, who's the one guy that knows what he's doing? Hey, let me pull my laptop out. I want to get the rest of the draft order. What number of pick is the Raiders, Raj?
17.
Y'all feel like going to 17 and calling it a night? We'll get the Raiders pick.
New England at 14. Oh, sorry, 17 after Arizona. I forgot. There it is. It's Parsons, the middle linebacker, filling the role. He's the one who I wanted as a Raider. I also love the dude out of Notre Dame, but it's not going to matter because they'll mess up and draft a position they don't need. But they went with Parsons. It's a great call. Sean Lee retires. Lets them know right before the draft. Shocker.
And going into the draft before the personal issues, Micah Parsons was a clear number 1 draft on the defensive side. So you've gotten top 5 talent. You've got to. So for the Cowboys, they've won the draft in my head, which they've got a top 5 talent. They've picked up a 3rd round pick. Win-win situation. Coming up next is going to be the Chargers. Let's talk about the Chargers real fast. Is the Chargers, could they go wide receiver here? I mean, they've got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They lost Hunter Henry during the year. But, Raj, when I looked up the Chargers' next two receivers, I didn't know who they were. I mean, it's guys that was off my chart. So, a new coach in the situation, a coach that
The Chargers.
replacing a good coach, I thought. So,
Again, Trey Pipkins III is the left tackle for Herbert. If they don't go with Slater or some other offensive lineman, Vera Tucker, a guy who can play multiple positions, I'd be really surprised because they need to keep their dude alive because I didn't think he'd be as good as he is, but he is a franchise quarterback, he being Justin Herbert. So I'd be very surprised if they did not draft OL.
Yeah, I agree. Slater's got to be the pick here. Like, I would be shocked. You have a good offense. You have the franchise quarterback, so there's no doubt about it. But like, he is a stud, and I was hesitant with him coming out of Oregon, but man, he looked awesome last year. And so
I was shocked. He looked better in the pros than he did in college.
he did.
But I know those vaunted Pac-12 defenses. They can make you look bad, but
And now I'll admit I did not see an Oregon game last year because I know Cristobal's there. Are they still running the hurry up spread at Oregon, or have they moved more towards the traditional mixture? But kind of what new football is, like fast
kind of a
paced,
hybrid.
like Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I think they wanted to be faster, but they didn't quite have the same personnel that they did. They had a lot of dudes opt out, 4 dudes overall, 3 on defense, but their best tackle. They tried to be that, and that's how they sell their offense to kids. That and the billions of dollars that Uncle Phil at Nike will give them. But, yeah, by the way, Micah Parsons, Saquon, they're boys from Penn State. So now they're going to be playing each other, which is quite ironic. But, yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't as run and gun as you would think.
Well, I mean, really, the Chip Kelly offense
personnel.
Everyone's caught up to it. Like, I mean, not everyone, but I mean, you see how he's struggling at UCLA. Like, it's just he was an innovator, then went to the NFL, then came back and tried to do the same thing he did before, and everyone's caught on to it. And it's just, man, did Florida get a big break whenever he chose UCLA over them, and then they got Dan Mullen, just a much better fit and higher.
So,
wait, didn't they get the other guy that humped the shark first? What was his name? Jim McElwain or something?
Oh yeah. That's just the Saban effect. Every Saban, same thing with us with Pruitt. Oh wait, you coach under Saban? Yeah, you'll be good. Let's hire you. Yeah.
So you have an offensive line needy Chargers, and you actually have 3 OLs out there that were projected in this area, in Slater, Vera Tucker, and Darrisaw. Have you seen all 3 of them? And I know Vera Tucker's a USC guy, but I think Slater came with a little higher grade. So who is your pick? Is it Slater, Raj?
I'd go with Slater. He's slower, obviously, and it's a Big Ten guy. Vera Tucker is a guy that can play all across the line. He can, again, anything but center, but he can play right or left side, inside or outside. He's not your prototypical NFL left tackle, which is what they need. They need a monster. They needed Trent Williams and Trent Brown, somebody like that that'll keep Herbert alive. So Slater is that guy, in my opinion. He's the big one. He's the dude that it's clear what they need. If you need offensive line versatility, you go Vera Tucker. Higher ceiling, Vera Tucker. You need a big dude to make sure your quarterback doesn't die. Slater.
Robbie, if you're the Minnesota Vikings and you have Dalvin Cook and a questionable offensive line, well, that's a lot of motivation for them to invest in the offensive line with a couple of these studs still out there too.
Yeah, whoever the Chargers don't pick, I pick the other one. This is one of those classics. Being the number 2 pick, let the first guy make your choice for you. If the Chargers go Slater, then I go Darrisaw. If they go Darrisaw, I go Slater. And I'm happy with either. But yeah, the Vikings are a lot like the Falcons, but they're not on TV as much here. But hey, Lanier won our league with Kirk Cousins as quarterback. They've got firepower and they've scored points when games don't mean anything. So
they so much better.
Mine too.
Wow.
And then after these two, we think offensive line pick, it's New England. What happens if the Patriots doesn't take a quarterback? Have you even thought or conceived?
I mean, maybe Mac Jones isn't that good. And if anybody knows, it's Belichick. So I'm not going to be shocked if they don't go quarterback. I really won't. By the way, Kuiper had predicted Darrisaw to Minnesota beforehand. So good call, Rob. Providing Slater is picked here, obviously.
The River City mock draft has Slater to the Chargers, Darrisaw to the Vikings, and Devontae Smith to the New England Patriots. So that's not happening. But
look at the draft board. New England could trade out of the first round and possibly get Mac Jones early second round.
And the question becomes, where will he fall to? If New England doesn't take him, could he fall out of the first round?
You got Washington sitting there at 19.
True. Wow.
I mean, everyone can use Mac Jones in the first round. I don't care who you are.
I can't keep track of the Colts musical chairs. Who's the Colts quarterback now?
Carson Wentz.
It's Wentz.
Oh, God. Yes. Hey. Giddy up. Titans in the playoffs again.
Also.
Hey, wait.
So
wait. I'm gonna check my Bet Your Nuts pick on live TV. See if I won or not.
While he's doing that, last year New England was 26 against the run. They're about to lose Stephon Gilmore, however, many people think. So there's good DBs out there, D-line out there.
So
let's see what they
picked. Both of them failed.
So as I said,
I'm thinking of New England. This is up there. Slater gone.
As I said, so Tampa Bay Lightning 3-0 today. Always bet in the shadow of the NFL.
So my two picks were
well done. Well
Jones
said as well.
So so we had Slater to the Chargers.
Yes.
So now we think it would probably be Darrisaw or Vera Tucker, which again will put us at New England, which is where. Sorry, go ahead, host of the most.
Oh, go ahead, man. You were saying the same thing I was. New England, we're going to the Raiders.
Do they go with Mac? Do they trade? What's that?
We're going to go with the Raiders live on the air. I think we just decided that, Raj, while you were gone. We're going to get your gut reaction on the air as our last pick.
We just expect the.
Hey, if anybody needs a lawyer tomorrow, wait till about 10:30 to call.
That I've been happy with.
Wait till what time,
In
Ron?
about 15
It's
years, the
about
one pick
10:30.
I was happy with was
Who was that?
that's when I'm going to
Raj?
bed in the morning. Khalil Mack. Only pick I've been happy with in the last like 10, 15 years.
Then
They're
you got
known for effing
Gruden.
it up. Excuse my language. They find a guy that they like and they draft him, and they don't draft for value like Cleveland Farrell at 4 a couple of years ago. They could have gotten him at 16 or 17. I'm all about value. If you don't get your guy, trade out. Reportedly, they were trying to, but everyone knows they're the Raiders and they're dumb. I would love to see them get the kid out of Notre Dame, the linebacker, Owusu. He's hyphenated. He's a beast. His last name's hyphenated. They'll probably do something stupid and you know, the other kid is the kid Page from Michigan. You know, there's so much in the
That's who I'm
front
hoping
seven
for.
available. And that's where I hope they go. And the other people think they love the Moring kid, the Morig, the safety out of TCU, who's a beast as well. They drafted a safety last year in the first round, Jonathan Abram, actually 2 years ago from Mississippi State. He was ridiculously atrocious in coverage, one of the worst historically ever. But Raider fans love him because he will knock people's helmets off and the snot out of them. They need defense. That's what I really want. They need defense. I know they gave some offensive linemen up, but they better go defense.
So important point to make here. I mean, very important. There's a trade here, and Rashawn Slater has the ugliest suit I've seen all night.
Heck yeah.
The Vikings have traded with the New York Jets.
Wow.
You know, watching the Jets draft is kind of.
What did the Jets give up? Let's see.
Watching my kid drive for the first time. She's 11 and she hit every trash can in the neighborhood. Not really, but.
All right, guys. Tannehill is 32.
So
I am slowly talking myself into the Titans taking Mac Jones at 22.
oh. Isn't he
Let
basically
him-
like Tannehill light, more or less? Like
Let him sit for a couple of years and learn behind Tannehill.
Boy, Rashawn Slater is huge.
what I'm curious about, yeah, he's a monster. He's the prototypical left tackle, and there's a few good rush ends in that division. The Jets just moved up. Number one, what did they give up? Number two, I'll start laughing if they go with Vera Tucker, the guy that used to protect Sam Darnold. He was a freshman back then, I believe. But
See,
this is an interesting pick, especially with a team with holes all over.
they could have had Mac Jones right here. The Jets and the Niners are blowing my
Good
mind.
point right there, dude.
Hey,
Imagine if they got Pitts at 2 and Mac Jones at 14.
Yeah.
That's like 4 wins right there.
Let me throw a name in here. Are they up here to get J.C. Horn in front of the Cardinals? That's the only thing I could see you would come up for is one of the elite corners in front of the Cardinals.
It would be tough since Horn was drafted 8th overall to the Carolina Panthers. So that would be tough. I know what you mean, though. You're thinking of Farley, Caleb Farley. I know they.
Are they
exactly
up here
what you
to get
mean.
Farley before the Cardinals, who are desperate for a corner?
Good question.
Shit.
Very good.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised they didn't pick Mac Jones
That's
right
a great
now.
question. Desperate for corner.
Oh my God. What if they did pick Matt Jones? That would be the greatest moment in draft history.
I mean, just do it.
Oh yeah, it'd be so Jets.
Just to keep him from the
Right now,
Patriots.
Bless Austin and Bryce Hall are their corners. I mean, Farley has to be the guy,
They
right?
did
Or
jump in front of the
somebody to
Patriots,
help
though.
protect.
Yeah.
You know what? If they did
Vera
jump in front of
Tucker.
the Patriots to take Mac Jones and trade him to somebody else, that you know what? I take back everything I said about the Jets all night long.
As if they're that savvy. It's the Jets, dude.
But Hey, you know what? I'm actually glad the Falcons only had one pick. After they picked Pitts, I could rest the rest of the night. I wasn't nervous. Call Pitts. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be up till 1 a.m. waiting for the Titans to pick, and then be furious. Then I'm gonna be like, "How do I get on the air by myself? Let me just chit chat."
Hey, you can get on the same link, push go live, and you can.
I will definitely have your FCC budget maxed out.
Yes, you would.
I had to switch to Beats by Dre.
Hey, I got the Beats Flex. I really like them. I don't because the Bluetooth. I mean, like the wireless. I like to have a little weight on my shoulders. I like them, and they're only like $79. Go get them at your local store.
You know, the one reason this is easier than
Dr. Dre's going through an expensive divorce. He needs some money.
Hey,
Are you
he's under $1 billion now.
Hey, if I wasn't his attorney, I wouldn't be sitting here with you clowns.
Oh, shit. All right, they're talking about the Jets-Vikings trade. The Jets get the 14th overall and the 4th round pick, number 143 overall, while the Vikings get number 23 overall, and they get 2 third-round picks, 66 and 86.
All right, I'm calling it for Farley.
If I was a Jets fan, I probably wouldn't watch football anymore.
As a Falcons fan, I understand that.
Hey, the flip side of getting Zack Wilson is they got a 6th, they got a 2nd and a 4th for Darnold, even though he was the 1st overall. The Jets have so many holes. They need picks, man. They need especially high picks. That's the team is really bad.
You know, and we won't be on the air, but I'm interested to see what Jacksonville does at 25. Jacksonville, well, you know, could they come back and be in the game for either Travis Etienne or Najee Harris? Possible.
Well, they got what James Robinson.
They got Robinson, yeah.
Yeah.
They did lose. The Raiders actually signed. I can never pronounce his last name. He's a beast. Ngauoukeke. What's his name? Dude's a beast. Anyways, they're. I don't even want to bother to butcher it, but he was their rush end, and they lost him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do have James Robinson.
Yannick. Yeah, Yannick.
I'm more wrapped up on being 3 for 3 with these trades. If I get Caleb Farley here, I'm not calling another trade. The Jets fan looks disappointed.
Oh, fight on. Barrett Tucker from USC, a guy that used to play with Sam Darnold.
Mac Jones is on the phone with
Clay?
Bill Belichick.
That looks like Helt.
Calling it.
It looks like Helton's there, which is just terrible. So they trade Sam Darnold's old cohort. I saw that. It wasn't a Raider jacket, though. It just said Oakland. But, yeah, again, Barrett Tucker, I watched a lot of him. A leader, a guy that, again, can play 4 positions across the line if you need him to. The irony, again, used to play with Sam Darnold, and they traded him out. So that's a very interesting pick. Very flexible, very fast. So if you're going to get outside the tackles, if the quarterback's going to be on the run, that's a good guy to have pulling. He can do a lot of different things.
Why trade up for that? I don't understand what's going on. Like,
I thought they could have stayed where they were at.
Me too.
Dude, Mac, I'm going to just ram my face into the wall. I do not want Mac Jones in the sense that art is decent enough to win something. You have bigger holes. Uh-oh.
Mac
Nick
Jones
is in. New England knows what they're doing.
They're going Mac
Jones
Jones.
Was the guy they wanted the whole time. They set where they were at, and 5 years from now will come out and say that Belichick played the draft and got his number 1 quarterback on the board in Mac Jones, and he's won 3 Super Bowls. There is no way on earth this pick is not Mac Jones.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, well, and hey, good for Mac Jones. He just went to the best franchise in the league, and so
there is no way this is not Mac
New England
Jones.
sucks to live in, but
Maybe that's too poetic. If they want Jimmy G, and there's a ton of talent out there on the may lose Gilmore, it could be Farley. I'm just
Right
saying,
now,
or
Belichick-
Morig.
the Belichick's like, you know what, San Francisco, screw you guys. Y'all screwed up the draft. I'm like, you suck for 2 years. I'm gonna get this stud, trade you back, and I'll get all your draft picks that you have left and Jimmy G, and just call it a day.
As a Raider fan, I at this point really want to. I can't believe I'm saying this kid out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So I hope they don't take him. The Raiders won't take him either. They'll mess it up. We'll see what they do right now.
If it's not Mac Jones, I'm going to go jump off the front porch.
Mac Jones. Oh, sorry, that was Mike Jones. Back then, they didn't want me.
I'm telling you, it's just poetic that this happens. This is like every year when Alabama signs the number one class in America, and you just keep going, how do they do it every year?
It's almost like it's fixed. Q NFL.
How would you like to go through life having played for Nick Saban and Bill Belichick?
He's a veteran. I was going to say it's Bruce Bennett.
Boom!
Mac Jones. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Patriots are all on me. Yes, I did that again.
The bigger story is,
wow.
How do you deal with having an Auburn and an Alabama quarterback on your roster?
Like every mock draft had the Patriots trading into the top 8 to get the quarterback they wanted. They sat still, didn't waste any picks, got a quarterback that possibly was going to go number 3.
And you know how you know they got the player, Robbie? Because as soon as the clock went 10, they were sprinting with the pick. There's still 5 minutes on the clock. They were like, oh, we're done. We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, well, they saw what we saw. They're like, well, it's like there's a reason why there's good teams and bad teams. As much as this league, more than anyone, any professional sports team, they try to make it as parity as prevalent as possible. But there's just some teams that can't get it together. And they just keep making these same mistakes. And New England takes advantage of them over and over and over again.
Well, all right. Okay.
They're just not a team that ever makes a decision on a whim.
No. They don't trade up for an offensive lineman they could have got.
Everything's reasonable. Everything's down. They don't like a guy. Yeah, they don't take Cleveland Farrell at number 4 because they like him, as opposed to finding number 24 where he would have been. That's not New England. They sit back and they let other people mess up and overspend and overindulge, and they get their guy, like you said, 8 picks later than where he probably should have gone.
Raj, we talked about Jamarcus Russell earlier. Who was the stud wide receiver? Who was the measurable wide receiver that Oakland took that was just like a sprinter that couldn't catch or run routes? It was probably 10 years ago at this point.
Darius Hayward Bay out of Maryland. He was number 7 overall.
Yes. He probably could have been in the second round, and they picked him like 6 or 7. Yes.
Like they had a pick at they had like number 70 at the 3rd round, and I was like, good pick at number 70, but they took him number Number 7
Yes,
overall.
that's typical Raiders right there. Just like, hey, we love this guy. No need to wait.
Well, guys, we're going to be
He's
wrapping
fast,
it
bro.
up.
We really need this guy.
So I want
Come on, Randall. You got to let me get to the Raiders so you can see my
we're going
my
to
reaction.
the Raiders. I'm trying to talk over the Cardinals pick here.
Oh yeah, hold on.
I want to ask a couple of questions. Okay, let's go to the Raiders, and then we'll go a couple other places.
Can I make a quick drink?
Yeah.
I will be listening to your. I'll listen to your questions though.
Right now, the best draft arguably coming into this draft, is still on the board. If New England does not take him here, do you take the 5th offensive lineman if you're the Raiders, or do you take the best guy? Everybody said all the measurables and Kwai Pate and call it a day.
You know, Pay is a guy that I know the grades are high and the measurables are good. The numbers weren't really there, and that's because people ran away from him, etc. I'm a big middle linebacker guy, and the Raiders got Kwiatkowski from the Bears. They signed Corey Middleton to be the speed guy to match up people in the slot with tight ends in the AFC West who had a horrible year. I love the kid from Notre Dame. Is Pay like? I mean, what's the difference between him and Farrell right there? Offensive line wise, Darashaw, I think you can get him later. I don't think he's a game changer by any means. I think he's good, but his projection was late first round. I hope they go defense when it gets to them. I'd love to see the kid from Notre Dame, the linebacker, but I wouldn't be upset with Pay. Or I also like Kentucky linebacker. What's his name? Jamin Davis. That kid could play, and reportedly they love another guy that they're big on, and I've heard they love again Trevor Morrig, the TCU safety. They do have Abram.
The guy I just said, Zavion Collins.
Zaven Collins. Woo!
Off the board to the Cardinals. And the Raiders are
ESPN had him as their 12th available. All right, let's see how they miraculously, this is a lot of Raider fans that I know. Tamus, Vashi, CP, we all know what they're going to do, and they're going to mess it up somehow.
You haven't heard.
The question is how.
Jalen Phillips.
Farley's out there. Jalen Phillips is out there. Yeah.
Yep. Kawhi Pate.
Jalen Phillips is a former UCLA guy. Watched a lot of Jalen Phillips. I didn't think he was that great. He transferred from UCLA. Dang. Their defense was fine without him. I wouldn't be bummed out if they went with the big dude, Levi. I won't be able to pronounce his name, the dude out of Washington, the tackle. But yeah, I think it'll be, I hope it's defense instead of Darashaw. And right now you're looking at Owusu, Koromoya, Morig, Pay, Farley, Phillips. Those are the guys. And I'm not mad at Davis.
Once we start getting some sponsorships, we'll get those pronounce the name cards in the background that they have at ESPN, so they can do. Yeah. You should hear me in court trying to read
worldly individual as well.
Like all right, Raj, what's the throw your phone against the wall pick? What's your dreaded pick? That's how I always look at things, like what's the worst that's going to happen to me.
That's what I was about to say. John,
that's a wonderful
coach.
So with the Raiders, your throw your phone against the wall pick will be the pick. These two morons being Mayock and Gruden. They find a guy they love because Gruden did him in quarterback alley or whatever he used to call it. It could be Bateman out of Minnesota. They need receiver help. It's. I don't want Elijah Moore. If they pick Etienne, he's a great player, but they just signed Kenyon Drake.
I was about to ask.
I don't like Darashaw.
Is this Rondell Moore?
I want one of the defenders.
Is the Rondell Moore out of Purdue? Is that is that number 9 that's been there for a while?
Yes.
He's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
I think it was number not 5. Well, he was there for a while, but he's only played like 4 games. He gets hurt every other game. Everyone watched him his freshman year because they played the first game on like August 5th. And then since then, he's played like 4 other games.
That's the game I'm referring to. Yes,
yeah, he's still out there.
Hey, guys, after the
Raiders may go Asante Samuel.
That would be a Raiders pick. After the Raiders pick, we'll ignore what's going on, but I want you to be prepared to give me a winner, a loser, and if you were a fan of this team, you wouldn't want to get up in the morning for the draft. A winner, a loser, and I don't want to get out of the bed.
So 3 different teams?
Yes.
Okay.
Winner, loser. And
so loser cannot be the same as don't want to get out of bed.
No, loser is somebody. My loser is probably going to be someone that I think overpaid for a player.
So let's disqualify the Jets because we can't pick the Jets.
Right now, we can all have the same team. I don't want to get out of bed team is the 49ers. My loser is what the Jets just did with Vera Tucker and coming up because I thought they could have got him later in the draft. And my winner, we'll have to
out of the last 4 years, by the way, the last 4 years the Raiders have picked corners in the first round. One was Garyon Conley from Ohio State, a very light, doesn't want to get up in your face corner that was terrible, and they traded to Houston of all things. The next was the kid out of Clemson, where the jury's still out. Then they got Damon Arnett last year, pretty early pick at corner, another speed guy. Everything is reactionary. It's reactionary to Kansas City. They want guys that can, at some point, like I said, you got to stop the run. I would love to see this be interior defense, especially at 7. They'll probably go offense because they're dumb. Of those picks that they're showing on the board in the NFL Network, Henry Ruggs at 12th, not valued. Arnett at 19th, overvalued. Farrell at 4, 20 picks. Jacobs at 24th, only decent pick. Abram 27th, I guess, For Raider fans, take a timeout, get ready to take a drink because they don't pick value, they don't pick fit, they don't pick based upon reasonableness or reason. It's gonna
the Raiders are that person that proposes 6 days into it and be like, we know who we love.
Exactly. That's them. The Raiders are on their 3rd marriage and a divorcee.
I'm trying to get a special guest.
I'm going to need a drink
we'll
quick.
See if he shows up. So we're going to recap.
Hopefully the special guest is my soul because it's about to leave.
It's Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Raj is going for the bourbon at this point.
Nah.
It's a school night.
Oh my God. Great athlete.
You're ahead of me. Who is it?
Alex Leatherwood, the University of Alabama.
Leatherwood, the kid from Alabama, who
he's down there on the draft board.
Scroll down, folks. Scroll down.
Hold on.
Raiders love him. Raiders love him, but scroll down, value, scroll down.
But wait, guys, Randall, give me some time. I have to edit my loser of the night.
Yeah,
I had it pinned in, but I'm gonna have to
Scroll
edit
down,
it.
dude. I think.
Hey, Rod, you gotta comment.
I think he's behind Kellen Mond, by the way. Dude, every comment I have is 4 letters. You think I know better? You think they know better? They find a guy that they like. Hey, I'm sure he's a beast. Blah blah blah. But if you can get the dude in the next round, and you have massive holes on defense, it just makes 0 sense. I mean, you got to scroll down to find Leatherwood on your draft board.
I'm gonna say it right now. Did I not we just went through this scenario. Why do you take the 6th lineman when the number 1 rush in? You know, one thing about this, Robbie, rush in now to the Titans look possible.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Hey, there's Julius Caesar, by the way, with the Raider jersey on. I'm about to poor Caesar. Sorry, I was about to.
Do the Raiders know there's more?
Like a horrible.
Do the Raiders know there's more than 1 round?
More players are coming? Yeah, I don't know.
What a fantastic finish to the show.
It's the same, dude. And they wonder why they're 500.
Hey, I just want you to see your buddy's comment.
Hey,
he was really happy.
Hay wasn't a game changer in my opinion. He wasn't. Khalil Mack, but Morig, Owusa, Koromoya, Phillips, Farley, even Darashaw, Etienne, any of them are better than a guy that was projected, middle to late second? What's his projection?
He was
Leatherwood,
Uniac.
ESPN predictor, 60% available at pick 46. So they could have had him with the 2nd round pick.
Hey, don't get done tomorrow what can be done today.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I got to rewrite my list again.
While Darashaw is still on the board, I'd be like, if they take Darashaw, they don't need a tackle. They don't even take Darashaw, so I'm supposed to be happy. However, after them, he was Tevin Jenkins.
Hey,
then Eichenberg from Notre Dame.
Poking out of Mel Kiper's head right now.
Dude, it's just the Raiders. It's just so Raider. Mayock's got a stutter. Gruden looks like Chucky, but he's fat now. He paid $10 million a year. Dude, that guy's awful. Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey, Walker Little, Stanford. I mean, Kellen Mond is ahead of Kyle Trask of where on the ESPN's best available instead of Leatherwood. Again, not mad at the pick if it's in the 3rd round.
Jalen
Your
Phillips.
1st round selection. Yeah, I mean, they couldn't wait to jump on him, right? Like, the dude looks like Jason Taylor on top of that.
The Dolphins.
It's about value, and the Raiders are consistently the dumbest. It's Jalen Phillips organization. I mean, they're Jets West Coast if Vegas is West Coast. I can't believe it, dude. Every year they do it. Every year. It's about value.
They should. You know what?
That's the greatest. That's the greatest line of 3 hours.
Hey, Ross, you should just be happy that the Raiders play this like the Patriots. They didn't get greedy. They just sat back and waited for their man. They could have traded 6 draft picks for the number 1 pick and picked Leatherwood, number 1.
All right, guys.
You're such a jerk.
Raj, I'm sorry, man. That line is the greatest line ever. They're the Jets West Coast.
Hey, why should we be surprised at all? I mean, it's ridiculous.
And I mean, I am.
By the way, they let go of 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, by the way, to draft that kid.
What if Jalen Phillips
18 rounds ahead of where he should have been drafted?
Pro Bowl rush end, or does that make it even worse?
I'm not a Phillips guy. I watch him a lot at UCLA, like I said. Just so many holes on defense. It's ridiculous. For once in my life, I'm speechless.
Hey,
And I shouldn't be knowing the Raiders, but
Do you remember me? Do you remember asking me if Kyle Pitts can play safety? Do you think Leatherwood can play safety too?
Hey, Mark Davis
I hope he can play defensive end. Yeah, dude. Lloyd Christmas is he's killing it in Aspen.
Mark Davis is back on the phone and be like, wait, how much was that rent in the Oakland Coliseum again? We'll go back there.
The Raiders know value, clearly. They know value. Hence they're in Vegas, where everybody wins in Vegas, right? They know value.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Well,
I mean, I could have named, like, if you would have said, hey, they're going to go tackle, I would have named 5 other guys before that. Sorry, Randall. You can close out. My angst can be the end of the show.
No, it's not going to end that way. We forgot. We're going to do our segment. First, who lost the draft? We'll start with
the Raiders.
Davis.
Okay, other than the Raiders and the Jets. Robbie and I are both big value guys, so you can't pick the Raiders because they're stupid, and you can't pick the Jets because they're almost as stupid. Who lost the draft? Sorry, Randall.
All right, so if we are eliminating the Jets and the Raiders, so as you'll see, I got a bunch of scratch outs of my notes because we keep changing. So who won the draft? Jacksonville. They've got the best chance of being the next. Like if you've got the guy, then it's the next decade, 15 years. You're in the hunt. You're a Super Bowl contender. Who lost the draft? I think Carolina. Y'all like Horn more than I do. I think it was a reach there. Yeah. And then who I don't want to wake up in the morning. You'll probably see this coming. The 49ers. Good God. I think they blew this thing.
If it were me,
honorable mention, Jets and Raiders.
Yeah.
For the don't wake up tomorrow.
Randall wants us. Randall and my cousin-in-law Troy Bryant want us to say Atlanta won the draft with Pitts because Pitts is probably the only sure thing. That's a great pick, obviously. I think Detroit with Sewell did amazingly well. I agree Horn was taken way too high. I can rationalize and understand basically every other pick aside from, we're not allowed to say Oakland or Vegas, whatever they are. Zaven Collins is a good linebacker for Arizona. Is he worthy of being 16? Maybe. Didn't they draft that kid out of Clemson who's a beast last year for a linebacker?
They did.
So that's not quite the need I would see. But, okay, aside from – I'm going to go on a limb. Even though I like Jamar Chase, I think Cincinnati would have been much better off with Sewell for Burrow's sake. And then in terms of winning the draft, the pick I like the most, aside from Pitts and aside from Sewell, going to Detroit, hey, the Bears, I think 11, 12, and 13, they all filled huge holes. 11, the Bears getting Fields. I think he's going to be a great personality for Chicago. 12, Micah Parsons, inside linebacker. Sean Lee never played. He retired. He was their captain. 13, all the Chargers needed was a tackle. They got the best tackle in the draft at 13. Everybody in the teens won except probably the Raiders and I guess Arizona. So honestly, they just keep doing it. It's all about value. They could have gotten him in the 4th round.
Raj, Randall, what do you think?
There's the Kentucky.
Oh, here's Jimmy and Davis, the guy that
yeah,
that's the guy that most people thought would be their backup selection, not Leatherwood. Oh my goodness.
The team that won the draft was the Miami Dolphins. they parlayed the number 3 pick into 3 first-rounders, then turn around and trade up and still come away with the guy they want. So now they've got picks stacked all the way through it. The Dolphins are almost setting in a Herschel Walker-like trade situation with the Cowboys a few years ago. The Dolphins.
That's a great point.
The Dolphins are just built for the long run.
With a great coach, too.
Yeah, a great coach. The team, I think, that lost the draft, I don't think there's and we've joked about the New England, and they did we've joked about the Oakland region. We've joked about that. I'm not sure the 49ers didn't lose the draft 2 months ago when they made the trade with Miami. So that seems like, to me, the dumbest move that I've seen in the draft. The team that the one
we don't know that.
When
when they picked Kaepernick, they said the same thing. And Kaepernick got ousted for ridiculous reasons outside of football.
They picked Kaepernick
Trey
in the
Lance is a
second round.
monster.
Kaepernick went in the second round.
That's higher than he was projected.
Oh yeah,
But he was still higher than
they didn't give up. They gave up a king's ransom for Will.
Lance was supposed to be a top 10 as well. Really, it came down to Lance versus Mac Jones, and I think they made the right pick. I bet on it online, and I think he's the better overall prospect. So I would not say that they lost. That's just my opinion. The draft.
They gave up too much to be there to pick Lance. If you told me they gave up another one,
I mean, that's fair.
and moved up, I would be like, okay. But I've never heard of anybody giving up that much to move up 8 spots. But yeah, and it's not that I don't think.
What did they give up for the record? I can't recall.
3 number 1s, a number 4, and a number 2 to move up from 12 to 3.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know they. 3 number 1s.
3 number 1s.
In their defense, they got a ton of young dudes.
I just don't understand the trade.
Jeez. And they got Tom Brady when he was 28. That's what they got for that.
So my point would be, imagine if you held on to that till today. Those 3 number 1s, you give 2 1s for Rodgers, that deal gets done, and you have Aaron Rodgers for the next 4 years.
Even 2 years, they'll win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I agree with Randall.
The Super Bowl work. 3 number 1s.
Yeah, I didn't know they gave up that much. I did not know.
Well, they gave it up so early
wow.
they gave it up before pro days, before the combine. Like they just and.
Hey, that's a team that's made a lot of smart decisions with John Lynch, right, throughout the years. I'm not going to question them. I'm rationalizing at this point. I didn't know they gave up that many number 1s. So, dude, better be good.
They gave up more for that pick than the Rams gave up to get Matthew Stafford.
Well, and I just want to throw this out there. We can end.
The Rams gave their number 1 overall for him.
Yeah.
We can end this thing now, but we are 2 picks away from the Titans pick. But
I'll ride out the Titans.
It's all up to you guys.
I'll ride them out. But there's one other.
Hey, Randall. Randall is like, why do you cut us off so early? I mean, right now we're just probably talking to ourselves. Is like ABC News Tonight scheduled to come on after us, and that's why you say we have to be done by a certain time? Or
no, I just
and Robbie and I just keep drinking and become more entertaining.
I just reserved a certain block of time, and we're not over it yet, so we're still good.
Oh, okay. We got to pay for it.
Getting Justin Fields at 11 was amazing. That was the consensus number 2 player going into a month ago. And they don't move, and they come away with
that's a good fit.
2, arguably quarterback in the 11th hole. So I even more than Mac Jones to New England, I like Justin Fields.
I'm going to be interested to see what Wilbon says about that tomorrow. I think he likes Justin Fields.
Yeah. So we've got the New York Giants.
That's a good fit in Chicago, man.
Yeah, Midwestern or not a Midwestern kid, but an Ohio State kid.
Yeah. So the Giants, we were looking at
a very
wide
cosmopolitan
receiver.
city.
So is the Giants still wide receiver? Because there's people out there. Bateman's out there. I can't think of who else. There's another wide receiver out there. Bateman. Here, I'll pull up
Elijah Moore, Ole Miss.
So
yes, Elijah Moore.
I won't get ahead of myself.
Let's look at the needs for the Giants.
It's wide receiver, edge, cornerback, and O-line.
Hey, since we're running late, I'm gonna bring a guest in too. Hey, Anna, come say hi to everybody.
What do you do with your daughter up at 10:45 on a school night?
Yeah, why are you?
It's not like she's 8. She's like 13, bro.
I
She
know
was mad at her dad. Anna Lee, don't call me that. Don't get me on screen. Hi, Anna Lee.
Hello.
Hello. She should be in bed. Still, show everybody.
Damn, Rob, you sound creepy as you know what.
No, it's a draft night. You should be. It's like Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Go get.
Hi, Anna Lee.
All right. Special guest.
Hey, she was adopted, right? Because
what am I looking at?
Criminal has called into the hotline.
Oh God, no.
Chris, you're under FCC numbers, and you will be hung up with. But
we should have him on 3-second delay, right?
Yeah. What are you doing, Criminal?
Yeah,
that was terrible.
No, 5 seconds.
I need some help.
What do you need help with?
By the way, Kadarius Toney to the
What are
Giants.
the Packers
Kadarius Toney.
Why are we dying?
Guys, you want to help? You want to help him out with what the Packers should do?
The Packers should trade Aaron Rodgers.
Is going nowhere. Rodgers is going nowhere. There's tons of talent. Teams like Arizona and Oakland or Vegas have overreached. WFT overreached. Why Washington's going defense when they had the number 2 defense overall last year, I think. Number 2 NFL, and they get a middle linebacker, inside linebacker. There's a lot out there for a team like Green Bay that is 1 or 2 players away from being not only the NFC champion, but the Super Bowl champion. I don't get who's in these draft rooms and why they aren't drinking what we're drinking.
The Packers need a field goal holder that can pass the football like Aaron Rodgers, and so they don't have to settle for field goals. They can fake it all the time.
So did Aaron Rodgers get a wide receiver today when he threatened to get traded? Was that?
But, I mean, that's kind of my question is, he's basically saying, "Hey, I'm leaving. What are you going to do for me?" And he says he's not coming back regardless of what they do. So do they try to kiss his butt and get everything he needs, or are they going to plan on the future without him? What's happening here?
What are your hopes in that situation, Chris?
My honest hopes is if I'm looking at future football for the Packers as a Packers fan, I hope he stays. I hope they fix the issue and he can make it the next couple of steps. They're there, but they're not there. Like, they're almost there. He was the MVP last year. Without him, they're nothing.
My take on it would be I was expecting to see some noise, honestly, tonight when it got to around pick 15, 16, or 17 to deal that pick for Rodgers. The fact that it hasn't been entertained leads me to believe that the Packers are staying firm that, hey, we're not trading you. We're not getting rid of you. So we're calling your bluff, essentially.
Well,
they're not trading him. Like
trade that the 49ers try to submit to them and they rejected it. Was that their, hey, F you? That's not what we're talking about, because what I've heard is Raiders and Broncos I don't see him going to either the Raiders or the Broncos, but
if the Raiders could pull off Aaron Rodgers, I'll jump off my roof right now, and I'm upstairs, and I don't have a pool. There's no way that's happening. And the Broncos
I
just
couldn't
drafted.
deal with you if that happened, Raj. I love you, but I couldn't deal with you.
Be nice to Raj.
I'd be
He's had a bad
careful
time.
either.
I am, man. I'm actually loving every minute of this, but I couldn't deal with Raj if he was there. So.
And he's a Bama fan. Even he knows Leatherwood was taken like 4 rounds too high.
I was dying at that pick. Just at your reaction.
Well, the fact that he was calling it all day long, like they're gonna overreach, and they actually did it to such an extreme fashion, just made it perfect. Like,
yeah.
Farrell was the worst a couple of years ago.
Waiting on the Raiders to blow something up, and every comment was, "We're dead," and then it happened, and the face, I was dying.
Every year. The more options that are out there, the more talent, the greater the possibility that they will screw it up. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, I love it.
Hey,
it's ridiculous, dude.
Are you saying that the Packers are going to trade him, or is he going to opt out and just not play and be the host of Jeopardy from now on?
He's a great host, but he's not going anywhere. He's just playing his cards.
Criminal, what do you think about?
And they better give it to him.
What do you think about this rapid pace the NFL is doing on this draft night? I think it's way too fast. I'd like to slow it down, make it mandatory that every team takes their 10 minutes. They can't select before the 10 minutes is up, and really slow it down and give people time to think about things.
Robbie, stop.
As we're going on hour 4.
It's about to be 4 a.m. and we're not even going to be at pick 32 yet. Like, can we pick? The Packers have pick 29. I might pass out. Come on.
We're not allowed to
Hey,
alcoholic beverages due to the
That's
FCC.
the worst part is now the teams that are picking are all good. And then they make smart picks, and the team before you're like, oh yeah, that's why you pick in the teens. Or
I think it was last year after the Titans won the AFC Championship, the season before the one we just had. So we had like the 30th pick or 29th. I woke up the next morning and I was like, who the hell did we pick again?
I mean, you mean the guy that may be the worst pick of all time. People talk about Jamarcus.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think our first round pick played at all last year.
And he's been traded
first round pick that you lost, then went to another team, and they cut him too. That's a first round pick, but they cut him as well.
Oh yeah, no,
that's worse than Jamarcus, man. At least I got that.
Hey, we drafted Pac-Man, we drafted Jake Locker, we drafted Vince Young. We drafted that guy. Hey, the Titans are not far behind the Raiders territory as far as we drafted Vince Young.
And you guys are good. Oh, by the way, I got a live text from my.
Kadarius Toney goes to the New York Giants with pick 20. The Colts are on the clock.
Like they need a receiver. By the way, I just got a live text from my because he loves God. Speaking of God, I just got a live text from my mother who says she's 80 and I'm 44. Don't drink any more beers. Sorry, she said don't drink any more beers in her text.
Did she not see the Raiders pick?
Tell her you're switching to bourbon like a real man.
Nah, she knows what she knows we grew up close to Mexico, so that's my
Hey, Raj, we're a short time away from Capri Suns and vodka at the yacht club coming up for UT basketball.
Is this on my acre or what?
No, this isn't. This is not. Hopefully, they made it through COVID. I haven't been to Knoxville in a
The
long
pick
time.
is in for the Colts.
It's been in for like 5 minutes. I keep watching it. They haven't said anything.
Randall's trying to. This is Randall's worst nightmare. The three of us drinking and watching the draft.
Look.
There's Quiddy Pay on a team that was
So
number
glad y'all
one
can't
against
see
the
me on
run.
camera.
They got a rush edge.
That's who I needed. That's who I wanted. God darn it!
That's a blow, Robbie.
That was my guy.
Pay and Jalen Phillips are off the board the last 3 picks.
Indianapolis is done.
So, y'all, we got about 6 minutes.
Number one against the run in the NFL going into this draft. They got a rush end. Very Raider.
That team's
Sorry.
good.
Man, he looks like
Their
a football.
defense is good. Is their offense
I do
good,
like.
They got Carson Wentz now. I learned.
I like the
tonight.
matching outfits.
though? Honestly, though, is their offense good? I know their defense is good, but how good is their offense?
Well, it changes every year. They have a new quarterback every year.
Well-
So now they've got Carson Wentz coming in. Is that right? Is that
I mean, they're
the-
loaded at running back. I love their receivers. I think they have the best offensive line in the league. They were number one against the run. But, yeah, I mean, I probably would have gone middle linebacker or secondary with them. But, you know, now they got Wentz. What's the difference between Wentz and Rivers? When you have that offensive line, even I could throw the ball back there.
All right. So I'm hoping for the UGA guy. Yeah.
Aziz Al-Jerry.
Are the
Maybe-
Titans on the board?
Yes.
Maybe the guy from Notre Dame. Bunch of names I can't pronounce.
Uso Karamare.
I love that dude. Owusa Koramoah. I love that dude. That's who I hope the Raiders will pick. They also need a corner. They were, by the way, Tennessee was 29th against the pass in the NFL
Do you
last
know
year.
who's still out there?
And they let Adoree Jackson go, who can't cover.
Well, yeah,
Caleb Farley is there.
pass
That would be a great
coverage.
pick.
See, we were bad against the pass because we couldn't rush the passer. So the cornerbacks weren't that bad. It was just
Well, that and your cornerbacks. I mean, I'm an SC guy, and Adoree is not a true cover corner.
no.
Yeah,
But-
but you need help at corner, and you need help at the edge
So
because
I
you
would-
signed
I wouldn't hate-
Jadeveon,
I would-
and he was
I
terrible.
wouldn't hate Farley. I don't think we need Rondell Moore.
Farley would be a good pick.
I like Farley.
They say you need a
Or I like-
receiver.
I don't think so. We have AJ Brown and
I mean,
we have
talk
Derrick
about a
Henry.
window being tight only because Derrick Henry, like how much? I mean, he's one of the most dominant physical backs I've ever seen.
He's probably
But
got
how much
3
longer can he?
years.
Even Earl Campbell almost died.
I'd say Henry has 3 more years,
Hey,
if
Crystal,
that. I mean,
you notice how easy it is to host this show with these two? You just watch TV.
it is.
Yeah.
It's
Well, especially when we start to derail at this point. Jeffrey Simmons and Denico Autry, by the way, was a former Raider backup who did well in Oakland. Then I think he went to Dallas, did really well. And you guys just signed him. He's a strong player. But
Allison just texted me. I got to
you
work.
lost
Everything has to
Trevathan.
do tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow.
We have 9 people watching us also. God bless you, 9 people.
What does she care?
It's probably me on 2 different screens.
Oh, I've gotten texts from 9D people.
But
Well, like,
How many are
honest,
listening? And how many are on YouTube?
to be honest,
knowledge across the board than I do.
we've got to be better than like ESPN or
Like,
NFL
the Titans need a
broadcast.
little more on offense too. So
I like this pick.
Hell yeah.
They're picking. I'm calling Elijah Moore Ole Miss.
Is your dude? Honestly, they threw away a first-round pick last year, Isaiah Wilson. I mean, that's the worst thing there is. Even Jamarcus Russell got a couple wins.
Hey,
Right now, their nose tackle is Tier Tart.
Yeah.
Is that
I
true?
really, really like Elijah Moore. Matter of fact, in my mock draft, I have Elijah Moore to the Patriots. I mean, to the Packers.
They don't need receiver.
No, we don't. Dude,
They
they're
overdrafted Corey Davis. They have A.J. Brown. They lost Jonnu. They need
lost Corey
defensive
Davis,
help,
too.
front seven help, and corner help.
Honestly, if we're gonna reach, I'd
Again.
rather reach for Najee Harris and just give us enough.
Oh, you guys got.
Wait.
I forgot you got Bud Dupree. That's a great sign. You need corner at this point. I would go corner. Janoris Jenkins. This is not the U 10 years ago. Yeah. Bud Dupree is a player.
On the board.
You got Autry. I mean, I don't know how you don't go there.
I'm glad the Falcons only had one pick.
I mean, the Titans are pretty much stacked at receiver. They've got decent running backs. They've got
horrible.
Yes, it's gotta be. We gotta pressure the quarterback. It's gotta be the kid from Georgia,
Azeez Ojulari.
Or Farley. Farley is a top 15 value. I mean, I would not be mad at the Farley. Adoree was flash. Adoree was all flash. This dude is a pure corner. He's a pure cover corner. He likes to get up in front of you.
We have 4 minutes, Titans. You're going to have to make your pick.
Sorry, we got to watch the band.
The pick is in.
The pick is in. We're waiting.
It's in. It's in.
Come on. This is not a rusher.
I mean,
I'm
that
glad,
match says it all.
I'm glad the Titans took plenty of time with their pick, Rob. That's kind of a salute to you, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, you got.
Yes.
If they give you time, you have to take it all. Like, don't be silly.
If they'd come up to the mic and go, for the better or nothings, 2001 draft pick from Northern Arizona.
No.
It's hey.
High school
by the way,
in Mentone, Alabama, who ran the 40 in 4.43
Lumberjacks,
seconds.
baby. Lumberjacks.
Oh, by the way, what about Lenny trying to
Shubin
change the draft
and
just
Timbo,
to
Lumberjacks.
go to a concert?
Yeah, I'll be at the draft. Well,
that dude's the worst two-time champion I've ever seen in my life.
Listen, he stole that from me last year. We're not going to talk about it.
Here's the Titans pick.
I've had so many
both years. Oh yeah, last year you should have won. That's true.
The trade is in. The Titans have traded with the Raiders.
It does not need much.
I mean, they're making.
We get Derrick Henry, another running back. Yay!
Are we going to get a celebrity guest picker here? Is Hank Jr. coming out to pick?
Why?
Here we
Why
go.
does this take
Isn't
so
he
long?
dead?
Didn't this start 4 hours ago?
No, our show started at 7:30. It's only 3.5 hours ago.
Oh, sorry. That 30 minutes.
NFL needs ratings like. Oh, there it is.
Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Hey, what's that like? That must be nice.
You know what? Wasn't my top pick, but that's an excellent
make a logical sound.
Pick.
That's a very valuable pick. All right, guys.
Who was your top pick if K is gone? Who's your top pick?
I wanted Azeez Ojulari. What? I just said it, but I wanted edge rusher. But,
Georgia, whatever.
Yeah, but Farley, I'll take that every day. He's 12th overall prospect. That's a great value pick there.
To me, he's the number one.
If that
this is the Robbie and Rods that the world needs to know, by the way. Hell yeah.
That is the best cornerback in the draft. I don't care what anybody says. That's my number one cornerback.
Hey,
good for you.
Hey, I ended day one with a good outlook on the draft.
All right,
are we doing this again tomorrow night?
Sure. Yeah, let's go for it.
Are we not staying through the Packers? They're picking in like 9.
Freaking hope not.
No, we're not.
Dang,
but we're on FCC. Stop. We're going to give you a final thought, though, Criminal. What's your final thought on this year's draft broadcast?
The broadcast is awesome. I love watching you clowns.
All right. What was your favorite moment?
You need more verb in your life. My
Like
win.
the backhanded compliment.
If you want to know the truth, as much as I hate to say it, it's the Patriots, because I do not want to see Mac Jones there for a long time.
That's a good win.
At 15, man, that's a great pick. Great pick.
That is. Chris, we appreciate you calling in, bud. We're going to call it a night. Thank you so much for calling in. Talk to you,
gentlemen. I'll talk to y'all later.
Talk to you later, brother.
And Randall, you were worried about doing 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we went. Yeah.
His name
Robbie,
is Chris, not Criminal. He's a good dude.
He is. He likes it. Robbie, final thoughts.
I guess it's hey, whether we have 5 viewers or 5,000 viewers or 5 million viewers, I've had fun doing this over the last month, and this live reaction view has been great. And then I am also so thrilled. Randall, you had the given that Pitts was going to be your draft pick, so you had that built in. So I was more worried about whose team's going to screw up the draft, and I'm so glad it wasn't my team and that it was Raj's, and so that just makes me happy that I can go to bed being like, hey, we're not the worst pick.
It happens every year. I'd like to think I'd get mad, but
here's the way to look at it. Honestly,
sorry, Randall.
Robbie, as far as I thought the Titans got great value. And I'll give you honest assessment of the Raiders pick. I thought they reached for the guy, but if he was someone I had on my day 2 mock draft, one of the first 5 off. So
keyword day 2.
Day 2.
Hey, he was a 5-star. I'm sure he was a 5-star in somebody's rankings.
If he's at Alabama, he's a 5-star.
Exactly. If you ask me, the most teams drafted very well, and they drafted for need. The Raiders needed tackle. The Niners needed a quarterback, and I like the Lance pick personally. The Bengals, I would have liked to have seen Sewell. A bit of irony, like I said, with Vera Tucker going to the place where his former teammate left, that being Darnold, but now Chase playing with Burrow, Waddle now playing with Tua. I think things more or less. I thought the Chargers getting Slater at 13, and I don't like the Chargers. I hated them more when they were in San Diego. Now that they're in LA, despite the fact that I'm from there, they became even more ambivalent towards them. And then the Patriots staying put and getting a guy that everyone thought they'd mortgage the future for, and they stayed at 15. The smart teams do smart things, and that's the bottom line. So I'm excited about Fields. It was my boy Roberts. His grandfather, Tom Roberts, was the tight end on the 1941 Chicago Bears. So I know the Bears very well. I'm excited about Fields. I think Dallas did well. The Chargers did well. Everyone but the Raiders did well, I think.
All right, guys. It's been a lot of fun. We're actually losing our feet now, believe it or not. I want to thank, and y'all don't see this, but on my side,
now
I've watched between 21 and 7 people be on here all night. So whoever, and I don't see names until after the fact. Thank you very much for supporting us. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, we have a few laughs, and we make some. And you know, we had great guests tonight. That everybody we brought on, except for Chris, knew what they were talking about. There you go, Grandma. There's one for you. But no, even Chris, everybody kind of knew what
He
we
was
were
my
talking
favorite.
about. And we appreciate it.
There's
And guys-
Derrishaw. He was my favorite. By the way,
Yeah.
my mom viewed 35 times, so we had way more than 40.
Yeah, way more. I'm just talking about the whole time. It's never went below 7. So we've had a lot of people stay with us all night. All right, everybody. I think my daughter's finally in bed. I got to go make sure.
Yes.
And we'll talk to everybody Tuesday night. Draft recap. And if we get froggy, you might find us on here Friday night. Never know. Go ahead.
Have I commented that my Bet Your Nuts pick won this week and y'all's both lost?
Yeah, mine lost bad. I'm just looking at my results tonight. I bet everything I bet I lost.
Everyone, thanks for watching, and we really appreciate it. It all helps. Subscribe and what are the terms? Subscribe, follow,
like, and share.
Subscribe, like, and share. There you go.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I appreciate nothing,
See you
and I
guys.
don't care what you do after this. I'm dejected. I'm sorry.